This is the story of a man named Jed, poor mountaineer. Barely kept his I don't know what I'm doing. This is what quarantine is doing to me. What should I do? I'm trying to be serious. Okay, serious graphic up. Serious song. We're about to go live. Please be prepared that the statements issued by the president and some of his weirder followers, particularly the lady in the scarf, may be complete and utter hooey is the technical term. But good luck and Godspeed, and we will all make it through in the end. Hi, everybody. By gosh, this is going to be quite the adventure today. Oh boy, is it. They're all gathered around. This is going to be good. He sent out the troops ahead, and now he's going to come out there and give us the unvarnished truth, ladies and gentlemen. The Jim Varney truth. Know what I mean? Know what I'm saying? Know what I mean? Good times. How are you? Just could not be prouder to be louder in these dark and dreary times. Let's see how this goes, shall we? Just fire it right up. And as we go, Betsy DeVos is with us today, ladies and gentlemen. That's a special edition. And of course, is that Ed Asner? That's not Ed Asner. That's just completely wrong. That's not Ed Asner. We're all here, boys and girls. Oh, he looks happy today. He looks like a guy who just signed the largest stimulus package in the world, otherwise known as socialism.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Lady Joe, try the veal. I'll be here all week.
Great to have you.
Isn't it?
And thank you all for being here. My administration is taking new action to ensure that America has the medical resources and equipment needed to fight the...
Oh, you mean that thing you said you weren't going to have to do, but you decided to do? Whatever, page 6 of Art of the Deal?
Pandemic. It's been
So good.
Pandemic for over 150 countries all over the world.
They had his mic turned down.
We've had great success over the last month.
No, we really haven't.
We've, as you know...
What do we do? What happened? Tell us all about it.
The millions and millions of pieces of equipment have been delivered successfully by us, purchased and delivered.
No, the states are on their own. You just said that yesterday. They had to buy their own stuff. What are you talking about?
And we've made it available to the states.
But whether they like it or not.
And the governors have been very gracious for the most part, I would say.
There's a couple of nasty ones that didn't, But what I did is I pulled the plug on the stuff that they would need. So there's that, like Michigan.
Appreciative of the incredible job. They have to do a better job themselves. That's part of the problem. But
is it really? They're not. They aren't doing the part of the problem. He's got the sniffles today. I think that just might be like backed up Adderall.
Generally speaking, I have to tell you the governors have been great. I just spoke to the governor of New Jersey, Governor Murphy.
Governor Murphy.
And he's very thankful. And
that's the most important part, is that you are very thankful. Attention, governors. Praise dear leader, or you will not get ventilators. That is all.
Cuomo has been very nice.
Very thankful.
They've really appreciated, I think, what the federal government has done.
And they told me they came up and upon the altar, upon the mountain, they laid the fattiest parts of the lamb, and then they went back down the hill, and I ate it and told them God wanted it.
You look at the hospitals that are being built all over the country.
Yeah, they're temporary medical facilities in stadiums. Nothing to be proud of. We're behind the 8 ball on this thing.
By the Army Corps of Engineers and...
Who are doing a fantastic job, which is true, because...
It's been really incredible. Nobody's seen it. They'll build hospitals.
Nobody's seen people build hospitals. I don't know why he takes pride in this part of it. It seems really odd to come at it from that angle. Does that make it like? It's like nobody's ever put stitches in my kid's forehead like that doctor ever did.
hospitals in 2 or 3 days, portable hospitals. This afternoon, I
Not portable. Okay.
invoke the Defense Production Act to compel General Motors to accept, perform, and prioritize federal contracts for ventilators.
Stuff I didn't want to do, but it did.
Ventilators are a
When you
big
do what you do to me.
deal, and we've delivered thousands of them. And oftentimes you don't need
You don't even-
ventilators very much. Hospitals don't have very many.
No, you a lot of times you don't. You needed like I don't understand. They had 2, now they want 30,000. What the hell is up?
And now we're turning out that we have to produce large numbers. But
Oh yeah, yeah. I thought you said that was ridiculous on Hannity yesterday.
we've been able to do that, and we're going to be doing a lot more.
No, you haven't been able to do that, and you have no choice but to do more. But oh God,
This invocation of the DPA should demonstrate clearly to all that we will not hesitate to use the full authority
well, you did hesitate for days. We will hesitate.
of the
I hope we don't have to use it, but we might use it. But if we do have to use it. We'll do what we do when we do what we do when we do it.
federal government to combat this crisis.
Put that anywhere.
We thought that we had to deal with, as an example, General Motors, and I guess they thought otherwise. They didn't
They didn't want to build stuff for free without me making them do it for free, so that
agree.
they wouldn't have to retool an entire factory at their own expense.
And now they do. They do agree, and
No, they don't agree. It's not a matter of agreeing. Now it's the law.
I think we might be able to pull it, but we let them know the way we felt. And they
What? I invoked it, but so that I could uninvoke it. That's the whole point.
can't be doing that.
Can't be doing that. That's not whatever that is written on my paper.
We'll
Right, Ed Asner?
work in partnership with the private sector, but where an emergency exists, and it's very important that we get to the bottom line, and quickly we will do what we have to do and immediately exercise all available lawful authorities.
No, actually, or we'll wait 3 or 4 days or a week after signing it to bitch about it for 4 days, but in short order.
To get the job done. This afternoon, I also signed an executive order investing, very, very strongly investing the Department of Health and Human Services and the Department of Homeland Security with the full authorities available under the Defense Production Act.
I'm gonna do it. Normally, you would just do kind of a lukewarm, medium, half-assed level of authority, but not today, bitches.
To respond to the
Super strongly. I signed it with extra pen.
outbreak of the terrible virus, the
Unseen enemy, the hidden enemy. Which one is it today? Invisible entity?
invisible enemy, as we
Invisible
say.
enemy, right.
My order
The invisible entity. It's like The Exorcist.
also establishes that Peter Navarro, a very trusted person from the White House, and he's done an incredible job for me in terms of negotiation, in terms of understanding where the world is going economically.
Where is the world going?
But my order establishes that Peter will serve as National Defense Production Act Policy Coordinator for the federal government. That's a very important position.
It wasn't. Apparently, it's just an important position that I just made up yesterday when I said we don't need to do this.
More important probably than it's almost ever been in our country.
Almost ever been. I love just the soaring language, the vim, the vigor, the almost ever, not merely sometimes. And I signed the act with such power, such grace, such fortitude. I put an exclamation. I dotted my I's with hearts.
And so I want to congratulate Peter and his family. I know he's going to do a fantastic job.
Out of his whole family, they're moving into a new building and they get a brand new house with this.
He's
What? Why? What? What? What?
been doing that job over the last few weeks.
He what?
Peter is a PhD in economics from Harvard, has a master in public administration
You mean a master's? All right.
from the Kennedy School, also from Harvard. And he's a tremendous guy, and he will do a fantastic job. And I'd like to maybe ask, before I continue, Peter, to say a few words, please.
Come up here. Congratulations. And, you deserve this award more than anybody else. It's really just
Peter?
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you very
President. And of course, the Harvard joke, you can tell a Harvard man, you just can't tell them much, right?
They can't tell.
So, anyway,
Oh, it's such a good one. You can tell a Harvard man, you just can't tell him much. Thank you, Robert Reynolds, for the super chat, for me getting on here and putting up with this nonsense every damn day. Bless you. I always open with a joke, if you notice. I'm the same height as Mike Bloomberg.
on a serious note, let me
But seriously, ladies and germs.
just give you a little idea of the Defense Production Act and why it is so important. We are engaged.
This is a crucial act that the president has he signed over a week ago and said he wouldn't use, and now he is. And we're going to explain to you why it was always important, even though the president said yesterday we're not going to do it.
In the most significant industrial mobilization since World War II, we have a wartime president fighting.
Do you need one of those extra cigarillo-y things to blow that much smoke up somebody's ass continuously? I swear to God, can the people on that stage get secondhand smoke from, like, ass cancer smoke from...
Fighting an invisible enemy, and we have the full force of government.
I like when you use force and invisible and wartime, all those great, touch on those great points, short stuff. Hit me with your best
With
shot
the full power of private
of this president's loins.
enterprise bearing down on this problem for the American people, sir. What we had to do today with President Trump's order with respect to General Motors, I want to give you a little background on that.
Please do.
We need industrial mobilization to make adequate ventilators,
Yeah, we know.
particularly in
It should have happened 2 weeks
the
ago.
very short run, to help the people of New York, Detroit, New Orleans, Chicago, Denver, Seattle, all around this country
America, even.
as this virus bears down. And the ventilators really are the most important thing for patients who become most seriously ill.
Yeah, we know. We've known for weeks.
They're literally the lifeline for people. And
And the president thinks we had too many as of yesterday.
personally been
Who the hell needs 2 of these?
working with FEMA,
Good God.
and I've been working with HHS and over 10 ventilator companies, making sure we can get what we need as quickly as possible.
And then my job is to take the messages from the people who make them, sell them, distribute them, and need them, and go straight to the president and translate all of their angst and hatred and fear and disgust into as much fellatio as I can manage, so that the president will act, because if you don't kiss his ass, we all die.
And virtually every one of those companies has been cooperative, patriotic, moving in Trump time, which is to say as soon as possible, sir.
Trump time? Since when has as soon as possible been Trump time? No, excuse me. Trump time is actually just after golf, before a rail of Adderall, and nap time.
But we did have a problem with GM and Ventec. On the one hand, we had Ford and GE moving forward on a similar kind of project, patriotically moving as fast as possible. Over the last several days, we ran into roadblocks with GM. We cannot afford to lose a single day.
We lost multiple days. The reason you're in such a hurry is because he didn't act on this thing the day he signed it.
Particularly over the next 30 to 60 days. So President Trump invoked the Defense Production Act as a way
As he should have a week and a half ago, maybe 2.
of enhancing and accelerating this mobilization. I salute him for doing so. It's going to make my job so much easier.
If I salute him, it makes my job a lot easier. Ask Dr. Birx. She's had to kiss his ass left, right, and center just so he doesn't kill Dr. Fauci.
For the most part, we've had tremendous cooperation from the private sector. Today, sir, was the right day to do it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Peter. And good luck.
Good luck with that. You're fantastic. So good. And I don't get that Harvard joke, but somebody will explain it to me later.
My administration is marshaling
Let me go back to reading my inspiring statement Written by someone else.
The full power of the American government, and we will do that, and that's what we've done, and we will continue to do it until
We're going to do it. We did it. I did it. It's good to be the king. I just did it, and I'll do it again. I love to do it.
our war is won. Economic, scientific, medical, military, and homeland
Seriously, he is now Mel Brooks in Blazing Saddles.
security. All of this to vanquish the virus. We are
Well put.
working to sign contracts immediately with the major ventilator companies in the country, including GE, Philips, Medtronic, Hamilton, Zoll, RedMed, Hillrom, and Vyaire. These are
Vyaire.
all companies that do this, great companies. The
Great companies that they make the thing I was just saying that I've already forgotten.
FDA will be reducing and waiving unnecessary regulations in order to get this done. We're going to be getting rid of certain, let's say, barriers to
Yeah, let's just call them barriers. Let's call them barriers.
speed. We want them to get it done quickly. They've been doing it for a long time. They've been making ventilators for a long time.
So why would they have barriers to them producing more? They've been what barriers are you talking about?
Hopefully, General Motors will join in the fray.
Not hopefully. You signed a bill. You signed a law last week into effect so that you could actually implement it.
Under the
You don't give them the choice at this point, dummy.
normal condition that you would be
Thank you, Amy Kay.
regular times, 29,000 ventilators are distributed in the United States each year. In the next 100 days, well, first of all, we've already delivered thousands
So many thousands, like thousands. That's more than 8,000.
of,
So it sounds like a lot.
but within the next 100 days, we will either make or get in some form over 100,000 additional units. And I guess to put it in other words, in the next 100 days, we'll receive over 3 times the number of ventilators made
And still be half as many as we need.
during a regular year in the United States.
Oh, a regular year. So let's see. 4 times, let's see, is the number of sick people carried by the number of beds that are overrun. To carry the 2, whatever, not enough.
And that doesn't include all of the thousands and thousands that we've given to the various
Yeah, it does.
states, a lot of them.
4,000. What do we have? 4,000 now.
We delivered thousands, as you know, to New York, and they didn't know they got them. And then
They had no idea. I was like, surprise!
we also had
They didn't know they got them.
thousands put in a warehouse, and that was also for New York, and they just found out that they were there. So we have to make sure that when we deliver things, they get distributed.
We gotta wait. We gotta make sure that when we deliver things, they get distributed. You mean you dropped them off in the warehouse, and no one in your office was coordinating with the governments that need them to let them know they had arrived? And you want points for that? I didn't. You know what? I left the dog in the car, and the kids didn't find out they had a puppy until we watched the weather report and said it was 105 outside.
Earlier today, I spoke
Congratulations, kids. You don't have to clean up after
to
anything.
the CEO of Boeing, Dave Calhoun, and Boeing will be producing and donating face shields to help our medical professionals on the front lines. These are actually pretty intricate in terms
So
of the
good.
plastic and the quality of the materials. They're important. They've got to be top of the line, and they're going to
It'll
do
be so good.
thousands of these a week. They've already tested the production, and they're ready to begin producing
Oh, it's
all
so
of
good.
these shields. It's the plastic shields that go over the face.
The things they're gonna make when we finally start making them, that eventually we'll let you know when they're made, and then we'll drop them off and not tell you they've arrived for a couple of days.
Well, Boeing is also offering us the use of their what they call the Dreamlifter cargo plane. It's the largest plane in the world.
Because they have a good history of keeping their biggest planes in the air right now.
And this
You mean it wasn't in huge use currently? Oh, thank you, Joe Carter. Appreciate that.
Sort of a picture of it. They called up
Here's the look how big the plane is. It looks like a big sperm whale with wings.
just a little
It looks like a big Tylenol.
while ago.
Look at it here. I had him print out a picture of an airplane that nobody gives a shit how big the plane is. This is so much better because you save on, because this plane uses 4 times the regular fuel of a normal cargo plane and has the capacity of 3 times that of a cargo plane. So let's see, if we send up 4 planes,
And that can sort of take anything. That's the big
it could take anything. You put anything in there, cocaine, cans of beans, you could crash that and a prepper could live in it in Wyoming.
biggest in the world.
Look at the biggest plane. It's a big. Give me a picture of the biggest plane you got. It's not very sexy. It looks like a regular plane that has a brain tumor.
And
He's holding up a big plane. Oh my God! Do your job, you swine.
letting us use that for the
Thanks for loaning us the big plane.
distribution of
I can't. This is some of the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. Oh,
product all over the country, especially the heavy
it's gonna fly over and just drop it out of the bottom like crates of the Ace Tomato Company.
product or large
Jesus.
quantities of product. And
Big or large quantities.
Boeing will dedicate up to 3 planes to the mission of flying
And no more though. Up to 3 planes. 5 nights and 6 days in sunny tropical Florida.
medical supplies
Jesus.
anywhere we need it. Each plane can carry 63,000 pounds of cargo per flight. That's a lot of cargo.
There's a lot of cargo to 3 destinations.
I also signed an executive order giving the Department of Defense and Department of Homeland Security the authority to activate the Ready Reserve components of the armed forces. This will allow us to mobilize medical, disaster, and
You're just calling up the reserves?
emergency response personnel to help wage our battle against the virus by activating thousands of experienced service members, including retirees. We have a lot of people, retirees, great military people. They're coming back in who have offered to support the nation in this extraordinary time of need. And they come back in. They don't say how much. They don't say, what are we getting paid? They just want to come back in. It's really an incredible thing to see.
Yeah, they sign up for the reserves because they're good people that intend to come to help when stuff like this happens. What do you think? What other presidents are in charge that they go, I don't know. Who's president right now? Forget it.
To see, it's beautiful. This
It is.
afternoon, I also signed into law
Even though Ed Asner does not think so.
$2.2 trillion in urgently needed relief for our nation's families, workers, businesses, and Americans of every race, color, religion, and creed. And the 2.2
We tried to get that knocked out, but we couldn't.
trillion goes to 6.2 trillion, depending on need. So it's the largest bill ever signed.
Yeah, the largest stimulus package ever signed. It is official. You have overseen the need for the largest stimulus ever signed. It's smaller than the auto bailout and the bank bailout, and you were in office when it happened.
And not just emergency relief, but of any kind. We've never signed.
Any kind, just relief. If you let's say, hypothetically, you have a hotel, golf course place that is rife with bed bugs, for example.
A bill of that magnitude. And, incredibly, it was 96-0 in the
Yeah. Again,
Senate, and it was essentially
no one in the emergency room was against using the defibrillator. It's so exciting.
The same thing in Congress. They did
Virtually, except for
it very quickly. In the House, they did it
no, it wasn't very quickly. They had to actually call a voice vote.
very, very quickly. So if you look at Congress, what they've been able to do, the House was voice vote, I guess they would call it.
Yeah, they wouldn't call it that. That's what it's called. It's not a he lives in a world where everything has a nickname. I don't know how to memorize the words for stuff. So whatever you call it right now, I'm just going to say that's what we're calling it today.
And something like that rarely takes place. And 96-0 in the Senate.
So good. Yeah, absolutely. And from the free throw line, no less. This
For the largest bill in the history of our country. That's pretty good.
I do only the biggest stuff. Only the biggest deficits. Only the biggest debts. Only the biggest boondoggles. Only the biggest loopholes. It's got the biggest of everything.
And I want to thank Republicans. I want to thank Democrats for coming together for the whole of the nation. And
I didn't invite any of them to the signing, but really that was for their own health.
this is a great thing, a great victory. This is going to save companies that are incredible companies, but that are going to need some help because of what happened.
Cruise ships.
A month ago, they were outstanding. They were having the best year they ever had, and then we got hit. And so we'll help them out. It's thousands and millions of jobs. It's millions of jobs. And I just want to thank everybody for working so hard.
I feel, look at guys, just let the inspiration wash over you.
And that includes the people standing with me right here.
Especially Ed Asner from hell. The Elf Asner.
The legislation extends a vital lifeline to American families and American workers with job retention loans for small businesses. And a big focus of the bill is small businesses. They're really they're the energy. They're whatever you want to call it in terms.
Whatever you want to call it. I call them the chocolate pudding of the economy.
Of our
I call them the chocolate cake. The beautiful slice of chocolate cake. Well, vanilla.
nation, they push.
Mostly vanilla.
People have no idea how big a factor. Peter can tell you the small businesses
It's 68% of the economy.
are in this
It's 68% of the economy.
country from an economic
Yeah, everybody can tell you.
standpoint, from a job standpoint.
Yeah, from job standpoint and economics, it's 68% of the economy.
We
Somewhere in the order of $16 trillion a year.
expand
But yeah, go ahead.
the unemployment benefits for workers very substantially.
Whatever you want to call
And
it.
direct cash payments will be going to American citizens, substantial. This legislation also provides a massive increase in funding for hospitals, for the Disaster Relief Fund, and critical supplies, including masks, respirators, and pharmaceuticals of all types.
Nah, not all types. Whatever. I'm guessing Propecia isn't on the list.
And speaking of pharmaceuticals, as you know, we're working
As you know, I'm on a series of them right now. I crush them up and snort
on
them.
vaccines. We're getting some good response, and we're
No.
working on therapeutics and cures. And we have some
Are we? Who by we you mean all of humanity?
very interesting things happening. This afternoon, Apple
Really? Tell me what they are. Hold on, guys. Wait, pause for a second. Tell me, Mr. President, tell me the interesting things that are happening with viruses and cures and antiviral treatments. Please tell us the interesting things that are happening.
Apple launched a new tool created in partnership with our task force, the CDC and FEMA. Any individual who is concerned that they might have the virus can now download the free COVID-19 app on their iPhone and answer a set of simple questions about their symptoms and risk factors.
And you can swipe right and get the cure right away. It's really interesting what's going on or whatever. And you can get, if you go up levels.
It's getting to be a very modernized system indeed.
So modern. People are using their phones. What will the kids think of today?
They'll soon receive HHS recommendations on what to do next, including whether they should get tested or not. And again, we only want people to get tested if we think they need it.
Why? There's plenty of tests. I mean, everybody who can get a test, anybody who wants a test can get a test. He already said that a week ago. I don't know what you people don't understand about that. What is your problem? Why won't you just run out and get tested, America? Why not?
In a few moments, Secretary
And did he just poop?
DeVos and Secretary Perdue will discuss new partnerships with the private sector that are providing meals to millions of students while schools are closed. They've both been incredible, the job they've done.
So fantastic.
Appreciate them very
So great.
much. We're grateful
Betsy DeVos is recommending SEAL Team MREs for children, as well as knife fighting techniques. Her brother's going to head up the program.
for the assistance of Niran Shodhari,
Oh boy, that was fun watching that happen. They brought it in for the landing.
CEO of Panera Bread Company. They've been so incredible to us. And
I love their soup and sandwich combo.
the people of our country. And Denton McLean, chairman of McLean Global
My kid loves Panera Bread's mac and cheese, I'm not going to lie.
Logistics.
And their little quinoa bowls are a good time.
And they've joined us. They're on stage with me. They're going to speak.
No promo.
Throughout this ordeal, I've been awed and inspired by the
Look how inspired he is. Wait, he's about to tell you how inspired he's been. Let's watch the spirit.
American people more than anything else, more than anyone else. Americans of every walk of life have followed the guidelines, shown incredible compassion.
Porn stars, strippers, lawyers, people who run
And
tabloids.
sacrificed greatly on behalf of their fellow citizens. I want every American to know that their selfless and heroic actions are saving lives, and I want them to know, and I've said it before, that I'm very proud to be their president. Very proud of the American people.
What are you supposed to be ashamed?
My administration is actively
You know what? Normally, you people suck.
planning the next phase in an all-out war against this horrible virus.
And remember, I am a wartime president. You don't want to change horses midstream, because if I get kicked out of office, the virus
We're
wins.
now testing nearly 100,000 patients per day, more than anybody in the world. And we've now, as of
We also have more cases than
even a
anybody.
couple of weeks ago, tested more than any other country in the world. And our capacity continues to grow. Widespread surveillance testing will allow us to monitor the spread of the virus, and we're doing that quite accurately. And Deborah and Tony will be speaking about that.
Oh, are we? Are we now? Because we don't have enough tests, there is no way that we are accurate enough. Not by a long shot.
And coordinate with the states to contain new hotspots as they arise.
Why would new hotspots arise if we're already tracking it currently?
A targeted, fact-based, and data-based approach. It's all data-driven. This surveillance testing will soon
That's what he rolled over database and data-driven. That happens.
enable us to publish updated guidelines for state and local leaders. We want every county and region in the country to have the on-the-ground evidence that they need to determine the mitigation measures
It's on the ground. We left it there. If you can't find it, it's up to you. Maybe get a coon dog. He can find it.
that are right for them. Each location
Right, Tennessee?
is different. Some are very, very different. Some are
Some are different. Some are, I've heard of Purple Mountain's Majesty. I've heard of wheat, amber waves of grain, mention of that.
day and night. Some
These are like, New York is like day and night from Rabbit Hash, Kentucky. I mean, you wouldn't think so
are in
normally.
great shape and some aren't in great shape. And we'll
Oh, good. Okay, you guys got that? Remember, there will be a pop quiz. Some places are in great shape and other places are not in great shape. So, in case you got that on your bingo card.
be able to have very accurate information very shortly. We already
When will that be?
have a lot of that information. America is bravely battling this pandemic through cutting-edge science, medical innovation, and
Apps.
rational, deliberate, and determined vigilance. No effort will be spared in winning this war. We're going to win the war. Hopefully, we're going to win soon.
Win big and we're going to win soon. We're going to make it a lot of money and it's going to be even better than before with all as many.
And with as few lives as possible lost. You see,
As few lives as possible lost.
See what's going on all over the world. You see the lives. You see Italy. You see Spain. You see all of these countries going through so much, going through such hell. And we're all in very strong communication. I can tell you our professionals are dealing with them every day, many of the countries.
These silly
So
countries.
many countries, but many of the
So many countries.
we're dealing very directly and closely. And we're going to be in very good shape in terms
Yeah.
of certain equipment that's very hard to get, very hard to manufacture, and at the right time we'll be distributing that equipment throughout the world to other countries. Boris Johnson
Why? Wait, we don't have enough stuff, and we're going to be distributing it to the UK now.
was asking for ventilators today, as you know, Boris.
Oh, really? Was he? Because you said the UK you were going to leave open, yeah, because they had such a great grasp on there. Wasn't there something about?
He's tested, unfortunately, he's tested positive, and it's a terrible thing. But he's
Because I know him personally. It's always worse when it's someone that agrees with
going to
me.
be great. I'm sure he's going to be totally great.
Are you? Are you sure?
But they want ventilators. Italy wants
In case he needs one. Did he ask for one of ours? Boris, I sent him one of our ventilators, kids. Sorry, Cuomo.
ventilators. Spain wants ventilators. Germany wants ventilators. They're all calling for ventilators. Well, we're going to make a lot of ventilators.
Oh, we're going to corner the ventilator market at the end of this.
And we'll take care of our needs, but we're also going to help other countries. So I just want to thank everybody. I want to thank our great American citizens, and
I feel thanked. I really do.
a lot of incredible things are happening,
So good. You guys are so lucky.
really happening, and it's too bad. I was saying before, we had the press conference when we had a signing ceremony when we signed the largest bill in our history, and
What? The largest stimulus bill in our history. What are you talking about? It was 1,000 pages. You want to talk about, like, the defense appropriation every year is 3,000 pages. Say what it is. Largest bill in our history. It's not the largest bill in our history.
I said,
This duck has the largest bill of any duck that's ever lived, except all the other
think of
ducks.
it, 22 days ago, we had the greatest economy in the world.
And I pissed it away because I ignored what all the experts were telling me. And I said, no, it'll wash over and 15 cases will go to 0. And there's really one old lady, but she's getting better. And maybe we'll keep us. And what we want now is as few deaths as possible.
Everything was going beautifully.
So beautiful.
The stock market hit an all-time high again.
So good.
And for the over 150th time during my presidency.
Just like Trump, just like Obama every year after the stock market hit 11,000.
And the world was looking good. And then we got hit by the invisible enemy. And now you have countries all over the world reeling. But we're winning it, and we'll be
Winning it big.
bigger and better and stronger than we were even before. And we will also have apparatus in place that
Oh, I have an apparatus.
works. We won't have broken systems. We'll have incredible systems. So
We're going to put together, I've come up with a great idea. Hold the phone. Back up, everyone. Everybody who's been so crucial on this stage is going to form what I call a pandemic response force. And they will work in conjunction with something that I have called the Affordable Care Act that will they'll work together to provide something I'm calling Medicaid and Medicare expansion to all the states. And then I'm going to build a time machine and become a black guy.
so if this should happen again, and hopefully it won't,
Hopefully it'll never happen again. Who would have even thought after H1N1 and the Spanish flu and Ebola and AIDS that we would ever have the potential for a pandemic again? That's why I tossed out those guys. But now I will take care of it for you folks, because no one is thinking about the weird hand gestures that I do.
but if a thing like this should happen again,
We'll have a different president, and
we'll be able to handle it
because we'll have a different president.
very much more easily. So
Because we'll have a different
with
president.
that, I'll take a few questions. Steve, please.
This is the good part. Here we go. Here we go. Let's roll back on the sweet stuff. Now, we never did actually hear the exciting things that are happening with viruses and cures. I'm sure he'll at some point tell us the details.
Tell us a little bit about these negotiations with General Motors. What were they reluctant to do, or was it a debate over cost?
They just didn't want to do it. Apparently,
Their profits?
Well,
or
it got
what?
to be a debate over cost. We don't want to think too much about cost when we're talking about this. This is not cost.
well, then why wouldn't you just say, okay, is that your price? We'll do it. We're in a hurry
I
here.
wasn't happy where General Motors built plants in other locations over the years, not so much during my term, but they built a lot of plants in other countries.
Thank
I
you,
won't name the countries, but you can
You mean Mexico and China?
imagine. And
Why wouldn't you name them? They also built one in Canada.
so I didn't go
They also built one in the United States.
into it with a very favorable view. I was extremely unhappy with Lordstown, Ohio, where they left Lordstown, Ohio, in the middle of an auto boom because we had 17 car companies coming in, and then they were leaving one plant in Ohio. I love Ohio, and what happened?
And I needed to get reelected, so I couldn't figure out why they wouldn't just have a factory that loses money making a car that they're not going to sell anymore just so I could get reelected. They could always stop the year after I get reelected. I won't care in 2021 what businesses do. You just have to get me over the hump.
That became the story. Not that all
So I figured out a way that I could punish them verbally.
these plants are moving in, but that you had
Everybody wants to build in this town in Ohio, but except GM for some reason.
one plant they were leaving. And
So over one plant, I thought,
frankly, I think that would be a good place to build the ventilators, but we'll see. We'll see how that all works out.
wait, is that what this was about? That they wanted to retool a factory that they already had, but he wanted them to build a whole new factory and then keep it running afterwards? Is that what's happening?
But so I wasn't too thrilled, and then we thought we had a deal for 40,000 ventilators, and all of a sudden it became 6, and then price became a big object. But Peter Navarro is going to handle
No, 40 and 6 is not the numbers.
that, and Peter will do a very good job.
He'll answer these questions. I didn't really listen. I zoned out while you were. What was the question
We'll see,
again?
maybe they'll change their tune, but we didn't want to play games with them.
Ed Asner does not like it.
Yeah,
Mr. President, two questions for you. One on state quarantines and the other one on the search for treatment. The first one, over the last 24 hours, governors in multiple states, including Florida, Rhode Island, have issued quarantine orders for travelers coming from other
quarantine
states.
orders?
Quarantine orders, yeah. And they are intercepting people on highways, at airports. They say this is at the recommendation of your administration. Is that true? And if so, why doesn't your
well, I think I'm
administration
going to
just...
let Tony speak to that a little.
Because I don't know what you're talking about. I was getting a massage and an orange peel. That's what I call it when they'd give me a facial and then they reapply the
bit
orange.
later, but we're being very strong on quarantine. We're being very strong on people not leaving, especially certain states and going to.
White lines along my temples and ears. White lines separating skin from orange. White lines underneath my eyeballs. White lines is that Adderall on my
other
nose.
states where they have less of a problem. I mean, you're hearing constantly about people leaving New York and going down to Florida.
Yeah, I've been hearing about that for years.
And New York obviously is a hot spot. And that's why we're building all those hospitals in New York and all those medical centers in New York. So we'll let Tony answer that. But specifically, you have to understand.
Just say, did you or did you not order that states have to quarantine people who are coming in?
We're not playing games, John.
Well, that sounds like a game. We're not playing games. What do you think I'm doing up here? Yahtzee?
President, if I could come back to the invoking DPA. This morning you tweeted
Oh, I don't like the sound of that. It sounds painful to sit down after that.
about it, and I'm told it was coincidentally not long after that tweet,
I call it invoking pee.
Ventec and GM announced that they had reached an agreement to at their Kokomo, Indiana plant, which is a clean facility that makes electronic equipment, produce up to 10,000 ventilators a month, with the first ones to be delivered in a couple of weeks. So why the need after that to invoke?
Uh-oh. Because I didn't like that they wanted to keep their one facility and not open a new one on their own dime.
DPA?
just to make something I need temporarily because I'm behind the 8 ball.
It wasn't after, it was before, and we just were not getting there with General Motors. We weren't getting there. We're getting there with a lot of other companies, and we have the people that are doing it for me in the room right here.
Flash in my own eye. That was fun.
And we can talk to you later about it. But we
I don't really know the details right now.
have to get these people on board. We're not looking to get into a big deal on price. We're not looking to be ripped off on price. We don't want.
Then explain the deal, art of the deal. What was the deal? Look, you hired a deal maker to do this job, okay? So relax, have a nice meal. This will all be over. It's going to pop, and then we'll be back to where we were. And I don't want to get haggled on price by the people who actually have to make stuff and sell stuff.
We don't want prices
I don't make and sell things, okay?
to be double, triple what they should be. So General Motors, we'll see what happens. But now they're talking, but they weren't talking the right way at the beginning, and that was not right to the country.
So did you or did you not actually implement it then? What is...
Just following that, Mr. President, last night you told Sean Hannity you didn't think that there was a need for 30 or
I do have a drinking problem, Will.
40,000 ventilators, yet today you basically federalized General Motors to produce tens of
Well,
thousands.
I
Did
think
something
there's a
change?
very good chance we won't need that many. And I think,
Oh, we'll need that many.
frankly, there's a great chance that we're not going to need that many.
No, there isn't.
But you know what? There are a lot of other people that are going to need them. We have countries all over the world that are friends of ours, and we will help those countries. We're in a position to do things that other countries can't. So we have sort of an interesting position. We can make them because we're going to be making over 100,000 pretty quickly. So we can make them. And if we don't need them, John, that's okay because we can help Italy and we can help UK, Boris Johnson specifically. I mean, when I
We're going to help all the white countries.
say, how you feeling?
And then I'll just send them a ventilator. I'm sitting on, I got a brick of them
first
over
thing-
here. How much you give me? Then I'm going to start an auction house.
Boris said to me is we need ventilators.
I was like, okay, I'll make GM. I'll use, so as soon as, holy shit, as soon as Boris Johnson told me they needed ventilators, I implemented the Defense Production Act and started forcing GM to make ventilators that I'm going to sell to the UK.
So surplus will be
Oh,
sold
absolutely. We're not going to be keeping her. All over the world, they want them, and we're in a position to make them, and other countries aren't. Okay?
Mr. President, if I first can follow up on that, Governor Cuomo had said 30 to 40,000 ventilators is what he needed. He based that on the experts that were advising him. What are you basing your assessment that he doesn't need that many on?
Well, if you look,
If you've seen what I've been saying over the last couple of months, I talk out of my ass like Ace Ventura, and magic happens.
and I think you can ask that question best of
Dr. Fauci, who's going to tell you they're going to need as many as they think they're going to need because he's looked at the projections. But I don't think we'll need
I
those.
think their estimates are high.
I don't.
I hope that
I'm coming up crackly when I talk. Okay, that's probably an input issue on my end. I will fix that. I beg your pardon. Yes, it's hot. It's hot for some reason. That's much better. No, maybe. We'll see. Is this better? Check, check. One. Check. Is that better? Let's see. I don't want to be too crackly. I'm using a different setup today, so I'm trying some stuff out. Is that better?
hope they're
Let me know.
high. They could be extremely high.
But enough about New Yorkers.
We're doing even hospitals based on pretty high estimates. You know, I'm doing them anyway. And as I told John, if we do not need them, that would be wonderful. We can help a lot of great people all over the world. We can help them live. But I think his estimates are going to be very high. We're going to see. Don't forget,
What do you mean?
we sent thousands of ventilators to New York, and they didn't know they got them. Then we sent
Check,
thousands
check.
of ventilators to New York. They have a warehouse, a New York warehouse in Edison, New Jersey, which is an interesting thing. And we
Just because it's named after an inventor, and most people don't know this, but I invented the light bulb.
sent them to Edison, New Jersey. They were in the warehouse, ready to go, and New York never took them.
Because you never told them they were there, jackass. It's so funny. It was like an Easter egg hunt with ventilators.
So
I'm so smart.
they knew they were there. So we have to get people lined up. But we've given that, and I'm not blaming New York. Look,
We didn't tell them where they were. What the? He doesn't have anybody.
this is something that's of a magnitude that nobody's ever seen before. But
Yeah, we know that. Yeah, we know. That's why it requires an adult response, like most have never seen, but with Jesus
Tell
Christ.
you what, the federal
Let me tell you
government's done a
something.
hell of a job. So
We're done. Can I remind you how awesome I am?
we sent thousands of ventilators to New York, and they didn't know about it at
Because we didn't tell him. What is that? Why does he keep doing that?
the time they were
We sent a bunch of ventilators. We put them in a warehouse in New Jersey, and they called us and said, "Where are the ventilators?" And we said, "Guess. You're getting warmer. You're getting in."
complaining. Thousands. We had 2,000, and then 2,000, and then 4,000, and then
No, 2,000 plus 2,000 is 4,000. You didn't send them 8,000 ventilators, jackass.
they were going there in large numbers. And then before that, we sent many thousands.
Oh, we watch I know. We sent many thousands of the thousands that we already. No, you didn't. What is? Please, someone check this math. What are you talking about?
We want to have so many
That we don't know what to do with them.
that we do have more than we need because we can send them to other great countries, that
This is
other
ridiculous.
countries that have been our friends, and they'll never be able to
So
do it
good.
themselves.
Never.
Some of the
They
governors
don't
are
even-
appreciative of what the federal government's done, and you've
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there that, personally, I'm gonna have to. Hold on, I'm gonna swap mics. It'll be better on the other one. See if this one's a little better. It might not be as crackly. We'll see. All right. If you think, we'll let you know. It might just be this one. I've been using this one a bunch. It might just need a charger.
and you've suggested that some of these governors are not doing everything they need to do, like that these governors are at fault. Can you be specific? What more in this?
Well, some of them, unlike Lindsay, they don't know how to cradle when they're. Look, if you're gonna do a proper rusty trombone, the important.
Well, I think we've done a great
You could give lessons. I think we've done a great job, and that's all they have to say repeatedly. And then, of course, both knees, not one knee.
job for the state of Washington, and I think the governor, who's a failed presidential candidate, as you know, he leveled out at zero in the polls. He's constantly tripping, and I guess complaining would be a nice way of saying it. We're building hospitals. We've done a great job for the state of Washington. Michigan, all she does is she has no idea what's going on, and all she does is say, "Oh, it's the federal government's fault." And we've taken such great care of Michigan. You know the care we've taken of New Jersey. I think if you ask Governor Murphy of New Jersey, "How are we doing?" I think he'd say, "Great."
Yeah, because their numbers have just started to rise, and they're right next to New York, so a lot of their sick people are going into New York systems. You're building giant facilities. The New York government is. The Cuomo is building these sites. The Jersey people that are getting sick are going to be going to those things. That's why he's covered. He's chirping.
I think he's a Democrat.
He knows that if you say one bad word, your people die. So he's been great.
Governor Cuomo has really said we're really doing a great job. And I saw the news conference where he was thanking the people from FEMA, the people from Army Corps of Engineers this morning. I mean, they built a hospital like in 3.5 days.
Because it's the law.
And it's a big hospital in the
Yeah, because it's a big city.
Javits Center. And they're building medical facilities in different parts of New York. And Governor Cuomo's been appreciative. But, a couple of people aren't. We have done a hell of a job. The federal government has
Can I remind you how awesome I am?
really stepped up.
What I'm asking is, what more specifically do you want the governor of Washington?
All I want them to do, very simple, I want them to be appreciative.
Wow. Why? Why should they be appreciative? What difference should that make? Honest to God, if your governor is a complete prick, your life should not.
I don't want them to say things that aren't true. I want them to be appreciative. We've done a great job. And I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about Mike Pence, the task force. I'm talking about FEMA, the Army Corps of Engineers. There's no country in the world could have done what the Army Corps of Engineers has done and is doing.
The Chinese built a facility in a week. The Russians are building pop-up hospitals right now. The Iranians are digging mass graves you can see from space.
Now they're going in and building they're going into hotels and renovating hotels. That should be for governors to do. That should be for states to do.
It is. The governors are doing that. And FEMA and the National Guard are doing that at their direction. Because you don't know anything about Hotels are real estate.
We have the Army Corps of Engineers so teed up and so stocked up, and they're really psyched, and they're incredible.
But they're just waiting to go someplace, and all the governors have to do is tell them where to go, but I won't let them leave for the state and help unless they kiss my ass
And there's
first.
no games with these people. They're in there screaming, get it done, get it done. There's not like sitting around.
It's all a bunch of, the whole thing I don't know if you've met the head of FEMA, Larry the Cable Guy. Come on out, tell him
Making
how.
it easy. These are workers. These are incredible people. So I think the Army Corps of Engineers, when somebody, for political reasons, wants to blame, I view that as blaming these incredible people. Nobody
When they say Trump is the problem, I say, why are you taking a shit on FEMA?
has ever
Thank you, Thomas Rock.
seen it. I don't know if you've been to the Javits Center. Now, I've seen it. I would love to go there, but with all that we're doing, we will be tomorrow at the hospital boat. There's another, we have
We're going to be at the hospital boat where I'll have a nice big, I'll just have, a big pat myself on the back. I'm going to go kiss the ship.
this incredible hospital boat.
Yeah, with 1,000 beds in it, not nearly enough. And it's a big show, and it makes you look like a wartime president. Oh, my God.
It was supposed to be ready in 3.5 weeks.
And they decided to forego all the actual maintenance that it was going through.
Because it's under maintenance, a big maintenance contract.
Yeah,
We were able to get it done quickly. We were able
it's seaworthy.
to stock it up to the top, and it's leaving tomorrow at 2:00. It's leaving Virginia. It'll be in New York on Monday, weeks ahead of schedule. I think even the media. I think the media and governors should appreciate it. And I have to say, the media's been pretty good, and the governors have been really good.
Who cares? Honest to God, do you have to like your governor to survive this pandemic? What the shit is he talking about?
Except for a couple.
You better watch it. Don't vote for your governor if he's the nice thing about, like Louisiana, Tennessee, they may have more deaths and cases than other states, but at least their governors kiss my ass.
And with them, it's just political. How's Trump doing? Oh, well, I don't know. Let's blame. Because we have done a job the likes of which nobody's seen.
Well, that's a non-qualifier.
They're saying they're concerned
I
about.
think they should be appreciative. Because you know what? When they're not appreciative to me, they're not appreciative to the Army Corps, they're not appreciative to FEMA. It's not right. These people are incredible. They're working 24 hours a day. Mike Pence, I don't think he sleeps anymore. These are people that should be appreciated. He calls all the governors. I tell him, I'm a different type of person. I say, Mike, don't call the governor of Washington. You're wasting your time with him. Don't call the woman in Michigan.
The woman in Michigan.
It doesn't make any difference what happens.
It doesn't make any difference what happens. Jesus, man.
No, you know what I say? If they don't treat you right, I don't call.
What?
He's a different type of person. He'll call
These people, hey.
quietly anyway, okay? But he's done a great job. He should be appreciated for the job he's done. Yes, ma'am.
He is. They're calling you out.
Given that older Americans are advised to stay at
What is that? Nothing says, party of Jesus Christ. Like, if he doesn't treat you right, don't give him a call. Screw his citizens. Let them drown in their own lungs.
home and avoid travel, is it absolutely necessary for you to go to Norfolk, Virginia tomorrow to wave goodbye to the ship?
No, but I have spirit for the country. We have sailors, we have doctors on that ship, we have everything.
You have spirit for the country. Folks, come on.
I'm not going to be jumping around in a huddle. But, yeah, I think it's a great sign. The President of the United States, they got a ship out of maintenance, completed all the work in a fraction of the time. It was supposed to be there for 3.5 additional weeks. So they got it done, and it's in great shape.
And we're going to shoot a great campaign video. We got the slow-mo camera showing up. We got people from Liberty University down there. They're going to pour some holy water on it.
And they're sending it up. So
I'm not going to go to this bullshit and look at a bunch of ventilators coming off an assembly line. A ship is launching. They're going to play I'm bringing the band.
the answer is
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Jim, so much.
It's a fair question. I just feel that
It'll look good.
as the leader of our country, when they can do work like they've done, and they've been working all day, all night, medical supplies, everything, loading up that ship, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. It's right down the road practically, right? Virginia. And I think it's great if I go to Virginia. I guess I can take helicopter or plane. It's like a tiny trip. And I think it's a good thing when I go over there and I say thank you. It doesn't mean I'm going to be hugging people, and it doesn't mean that I'm going to...
We're not worried for your health, jackass. Don't worry about me. You seem worried about my health and my concern. I'm not going to go down there and mingle.
to be shaking people's hands and everything.
No.
I think...
Hold on. Pause. Okay. Facebook, you guys... No. What the hell is wrong with... No. Brandlin, get out of my chat. Go away. What is wrong with Facebook? I mean, literally, are you guys largely just overrun with assholes?
I think it sends a signal when the president is able to go there and say thank you.
To a ship.
So,
To go, because if I had been able, I'm going to go there, I'm going to say thank you to the ship, I'm going to give it a big kiss and send it off, and then I'm going to get a hand job from a tugboat. It'll be a good afternoon.
We'll be careful. Peter?
Mr. President, on the stockpile of supplies for a pandemic, yesterday from the podium, you blamed your predecessor, saying that when you arrived as president, you said, quote, "We took over an empty shelf." You've been president now for more than 3 years. Why didn't you and your administration fill that shelf?
Yeah, I did. We did fill it twice. We filled it twice, and we've been distributing that for literally a year.
So why are
we've
we in
been
this position,
filling
I guess
out.
Americans
We've been
What shelf? We've been restocking the shelves with cans of soup.
A nice question, Peter. Thank you very much. We've been filling it out, and we've been filling that stockpile many, many times. It's been filled many, many times. And now what we're doing is something different because I think it's better. We'd fill it, so it comes from wherever the point of manufacture or whatever is.
Or
We fill
whatever,
it,
or
And then we
whoever.
go, now it's full. Now we take it and we distribute it around. Now what we're doing is we have an emergency. We're saying, go direct, go direct, go direct. We fill it only where necessary, but now we're trying to go direct. So they drop it off in New York, or they drop it off in Michigan, they drop it off in Virginia, wherever it may be, Florida. Well, Florida's getting a lot of things.
Because I need them for the election.
And we're finding it's a much better system. But we've filled and we've stockpiled many, many times. Yeah, we ended up with an empty shelf. Yes, please.
You spoke to a Chinese president.
What was that? He's talking about having a cabinet post that covers pandemic response. What shelf are you talking about? No, don't tell me we don't have enough toilet paper here.
Yesterday, what did he tell you in terms of data that he's going to share and
Yeah.
how they got the number of cases to go down?
So I had a great conversation with the president of China last night, pretty late in the night. It was fascinating to me. They have a
So
whole,
good.
It's a different
It's
kind
exciting.
of a world. It's a
You don't
different
have-
form of government, to put it mildly. We talked for a long time.
You mean
We
you mean
talked for
communism?
At least
Like what? I don't know if you know this, but he's leader for life. I was like, how did you do that?
an hour, I guess. And one of the things I was asking him is, when did you notice that this was happening? We talked about the whole concept, how it happened, when it happened. What was the most effective use? I mean, was it the fact that, distance? Was distance the best thing? We talked about
Was it welding people into their apartments? How did that happen? No.
everything. And he's gotten and developed, because they're ahead of us from the standpoint of time. It happened there actually long before it happened here. By the way, it would have happened here a lot sooner had we not kept those people out.
No, he stopped travel from Wuhan and those parts of China after travel out of Wuhan had been established by the Chinese government, and they allowed anybody who bank shot it through any other country.
The Chinese people coming over to the country had
Doing
we
the
not
thingy.
kept them out. But we talked about it because he's had additional experience of having been much earlier. And he's developed some incredible theories, and all of
Yeah, you mean the first one that American soldiers brought it over? or the one that they are now saying that it started in Italy?
That information is coming over here. A lot of it's already come. The data, we call it data.
Do we? Is that the nickname? I call it little data about Jack and Diane.
And we're going to learn a lot from what the Chinese went through. Our relationship with China is very good. We also talked about the trade agreement, but I must tell you, this whole invisible enemy has taken over the world. Nobody cares about trade. Nobody cares about anything. You want to talk about trade, they immediately get back to this.
Yeah, I kept trying to get him on other topics, you know, and he wanted to talk about this disease. I'm like, hey, buddy, what about oil?
So we really did. We talked about trade. You know, they're starting to buy very heavily from the farmers under the agreement, under the trade deal that we just signed.
Now, thank you, Bronwyn Fox. I appreciate that. I think that's a first for you. Look at that.
But honestly, he, me, all of us, everybody's talking. You turn on television, you read.
Everybody's talking about this. It's so boring. I could be golfing right
The
now.
papers, it's all about this.
It's all about it.
And you know what it probably should be? Most
Probably? Probably should be. I mean, if I'm going to be 20% honest.
about this. It's hard to talk about, hey, how you doing with buying from the farmers? They have.
Hey, how much stuff are you going to buy from our farmers while you've got military control over an entire section, 1/5 of your country?
Started very, very large buying, as you probably have read.
Because all their pigs died?
But what we really focused on was this.
Was this disease and why their pigs died?
I also said, how have you done with cures and how have you done?
Have you got the cure for this bioweapon you released on the earth? I asked him that. Alex Jones told me to.
With respect to vaccines, we discussed that. And, you know, they're doing like we're doing. They're working on it very hard. Mm-hmm. They think they have some
They're working very hard. That's what we do.
interesting things have been determined, and we'll see what happens.
Interesting things are working on and cures and stuff. Yeah.
But we talked
Unbelievable.
a lot about
Thank you, Jill Carter.
vaccine. We talked a lot about
So we talked about stuff.
possible cures.
Possible cures like bear bile.
How good would that be? I mean,
That would be great if you could just inject yourself with
that's game
with panda nutsack juice.
changer. So we'll see. And by the way, we have various things happening right now having to do with cures and vaccines, and I think
They're going to be very exciting. Tell us all about them.
we're doing very well, especially
Oh, good. Okay, like what?
in the vaccine thing. I think we're very close, but as Tony will tell you, that's a long testing process.
I think we're so close, but he'll tell you it's 18 months.
So we'll see what happens.
We'll see what
To
happens.
suspend tariffs.
By the way, Europe is working on an RNA-based type of vaccine that will be a game changer for all coronavirus-related diseases and possibly some cancers as well. And if there's a silver lining in any of this, is the speed at which that kind of RNA vaccine therapy has actually gotten funding under that. That is the single greatest leap for this, and still a pittance. Literally, if we just spent 1,000th of what we're spending a month on this, we would have already had those things.
He never asked me to suspend tariffs. No, we're taking in billions of dollars. He never did ask me that.
He was too busy coughing into a rag.
John?
John?
On Monday will be the end of the 15 days to slow the spread of the virus. Do you expect that you will simply renew the guidelines, or do you expect that there could be some modification to the
So, John, I'll be sitting down with this brilliant woman and this brilliant man,
And I'm going to try and talk them into opening up big chunks of the country, and they're going to scream at me like they are Roy Scheider and
lots of
and I'm the mayor of Shark
brilliant
Beach.
people that work with them, I think, right, Deborah and Tony?
Yeah, it's so funny. You guys are so hilarious with your little graphs.
And we'll be sitting down on Monday or maybe Tuesday, depending on
I don't know, whenever I get around to
which is
it.
the best for everybody, and we'll be making that determination. Okay, we'll be making it.
any
And
early
by the way,
indications?
obviously, we're not doing it for New York. You see, New York is just coming into this really heated situation. We're building a lot of things in New York right now. that nobody thought would ever be built.
I feel better.
A lot of things are happening in New York, so obviously, but we are talking about possibly other parts of the country which really aren't affected to any major degree.
Yeah.
Or maybe we won't do that because maybe at the advice of a lot of very talented people that do this for a living, they won't want to do that. They won't want to expose anything. They want to do it all at one time. These are the kind of things we'll be talking.
I like to expose myself all at one time. You know, I'll wait till all the hookers get in, start peeing on the bed.
So for people at home who are wondering, how long are we going to have to live like this? What advice would you give them?
Well, it depends. We do want to flatten the curve. We want to see that curve start heading down in the other direction at a minimum. And we really have to talk about areas of the country that have not been affected or certainly have had a very small effect.
And since we're not testing in those areas, we don't actually know what those sections are. And a bunch of New Yorkers ran to them as soon as they went, hey, let's get a Airbnb in someplace where shit isn't hitting the fan.
We'll see. I certainly want to get it open.
We'll see. That's a Trump 2020. We'll see.
As soon as possible. I don't want it to be long, but we also want it to open safe. Otherwise,
Well, otherwise, lots of people will die if we just go through with my whole Easter
what
plan.
did we do?
So could it be months?
What did we do? What did we do? Why did I say Easter? All those grandmothers. I killed the Easter bunny.
I hope not. I hope it's
Uh,
going to be sooner. I hope it disappears faster than that. I really think that the people of our country have done a great job. I looked last night, I was watching, and I'm looking down Madison Avenue and Fifth Avenue. John, there were no people in the street.
Whoa.
I mean, normally you wouldn't be able to see the sidewalk. There'd be cars all over. It'd be like rush hour stuff.
Be cars all over the sidewalk.
I'm looking at it, and I'm saying, I can't believe it. There are no cars.
I can't believe it. I can't. There's no one is going to Trump Tower to try our taco bowl. What
There,
is
no
that?
people. There wasn't one person on Fifth Avenue walking down the street. I've never seen that before. You know, I guess maybe at 1 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, maybe, but I've never seen that before. The people have been incredible. They've really been, when you talk about distancing, social distancing, I mean, you know.
It's the hottest term. Pence has a tramp stamp.
We don't have a law. We're not going to put them in jail, and yet
Maybe you should.
really, I think there's two things. Number one, they are afraid.
That's a good description. Maybe they are afraid. Why would they feel that way?
And number two, they really are wanting to win this
Thank you, Toussaint Blonde. Toussaint Blonde.
thing. Yes, please.
I'm gonna have to stretch out that graphic because you guys are your long handles are starting to get eating up screen space.
I wanted to ask you about United Airlines said today that they're worried that there's not enough money for them in the $2.2 trillion bill that you just signed, and that at the end of the sort of aid period, which would be the end of September, where the restrictions on layoffs come off, that they could be seeing significant layoffs.
Sure.
And so I was wondering what your reaction to that was, and what the administration might do to prevent.
So yeah,
sort
sure.
of
It's a good question. We have brilliant people. We have a tremendous amount of money,
Apparently not enough.
and we have brilliant people that I'm
Great. Okay, and they're doing fantastic and interesting things, and they'll probably come up here and tell you about them. I don't know.
taking from Wall Street with Secretary Mnuchin, who's done an incredible job, a brilliant guy. I'm taking from Wall Street people that I've known, that you all know, the top people in the world. They don't want.
By the way, remember when Edward Snowden said of the election that the choice in this election is between Donald Trump and Goldman Sachs? That was what he said during the 2016 election. That if you elect Hillary Clinton, she's going to fill her cabinet with Goldman Sachs and Wall Street types.
They don't want money. They don't want. I mean, will they get something? I guess maybe they'll get, who knows, peanuts. What they want compared to.
All they'll get is inside access to when we're going to turn certain government programs on and off, and know exactly when the stocks will be viable again. And that's peanuts.
Normally get. I'm taking.
If they invest $5,000 just based on the information they have, they could turn it into $500,000 overnight.
The smartest,
Just as it's peanuts.
the most brilliant people in the world in finance, and they're going to be dealing. I'm not going to hire somebody that's never done it. that's a political person or anything else. We're getting the
Somebody who cares about, where people.
most brilliant financial minds in the world. I know all of them.
I know they all laugh at me at the club.
You know all of
They won't let me play tennis with them because I insist on wearing those shorts.
them. I mean, you read about all of
No,
them.
you read them, you look, and you don't get to meet them. You're a loser.
I guess some you don't read about, and they're probably the smartest of them all.
The Epsteins of the world. I mean, he got to run that other guy's money for a reason.
But the fact is, we're taking these brilliant people, and they'll be dealing with United, and they want to help. Look, the airline business, I'll tell you right now, the airline business has always been a tough business. It's always been a very tough business, tough to make money with. It's got every barrier you can have, that business has.
Yeah, that's why. Is that why Trump Airlines didn't Trump Airlines? Did that actually?
But for our country, it's very important. We have to take care of our country. We need the airlines to stay. It's also big for jobs. So we will be able to handle
good
United, and we'll
jobs.
be able to handle Delta, and we'll be able to handle all of it. We have plenty of money. Now, will we end up owning large chunks, depending on what these great geniuses decide, along with the executives of the different companies? It's possible. And they'll make a better deal on the loan, but the taxpayer will then end up owning a big chunk of companies.
Yeah, you'll socialize the airlines. Republicans will now be the party that argues for the nationalization of airlines. Okay. And by the way, any other company that requires a bailout in this.
As an example,
Holy smokes. Like, had Che Guevara not known this was the greatest backdoor into this, he'd have probably used a bioweapon on his own country years ago.
Boeing until a year ago was the greatest company, I think, in the world by far. There wasn't anything close.
Not even close. That company that makes Tamagotchis, nowhere even in the ballpark. I would never fly a Samsung Galaxy 7 plane.
I believe it was 1% of GDP, okay? Think of it. One company, 1% of GDP. It was flawless. Then it had the problems, and then it had on top of it this whole thing with the virus. So Boeing will probably need a hand, and we're going to bring Boeing back to health. But we have the smartest people in the world. We have the smartest, I don't even know if you know that. I think this could be the first time.
Oh, it might be the first time you hear that I think I've hired the smartest people, and then I am smarter than they are.
I've heard it. People like Larry Fink we're talking to, and that's BlackRock, and we have, the smartest people. And they all want to do it. They all
want to get a good look at our books.
This to them, they love this country. They all want to do it. So we're speaking to people like that, and they'll be able to work it out.
I'm just letting them in charge of it. I mean, I don't really know the numbers.
I guess my question is,
the question I actually asked you.
There's probably a tension between bringing companies back to economic health and protecting people's jobs. And I'm wondering if you're going to intervene and ask Treasury Secretary.
No, I think they're the
Mnuchin
same
to-
thing.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, bringing people back to health and protecting people's jobs. To me, and I'm okay at this stuff, that's the same thing. I'm in a much different position as president than if I were an investor or something. But I want to bring them back to health because I want to preserve their jobs. But I also want to preserve airlines because that's preserving lots of other jobs. That's preserving the travel and leisure industry, which is perhaps the largest industry in our country if you add it all up. You add up all the hotels.
Yeah, it's kind of almost like the auto industry and why you would want to bail that out, for example.
And all the
Because it's not like people drive.
traveling and all the planes and everything else, probably by far the largest industry in our country. So saving the airlines is very important. And the airlines were all doing well. The airlines were doing...
They were doing great, Planes were getting bigger, seats were getting smaller. They were doing fantastic.
record business.
And have you tried to crowbar? I mean, I wouldn't know. I haven't flown commercial in years,
A
but
month before this, today, let's say.
today, a month ago, a month before the invisible enemy,
Even 22 days to be exact,
the problem.
right? When we first started seeing some real signs of problems. They were at record levels. Last year,
Okay, hold on. Let's see. I'm going to see if let me do this. Whatever. I want to see if I can bring in Frangela into this. Let's see. New meeting. See if I can do this with the Frangelas of the world. and I'm going to bring them in for the rest of this. Let's see. How do I copy and paste that? Let me see. I'll do this. Gotta copy the paste the get. Hold on, because they're gonna. I want to bring them in on. Where in the world is my icon in this? This is because he dragged into when I was gonna have them on. Hold on, Bert, get back here for a second. Let's see. Copy this. Copy it. Okay, and then we go to URL, and then we go. Let's see. I need to do that. Let's see if is it in here. Let me see if it'll go to. I always the fun part of paste. Yeah, there it is. Join me. I'm live streaming Trump. So Frangela will see if I can get them in and put them on camera as well. I'm pretty sure I can roll them into this sucker somehow. Let's see. Oh, I think. Let's see. Let's see if we get this, and then see what'll I give them. Oh, I hear you. I hear the Francises of the world.
Oh, yes, you do.
Oh, and you can hear me, and that's a wonderful thing. Hold on, and I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to share a video thing with you of moi, and I will, oh, it might be borrowing a camera to do that. Let's see, hold on, share screen. Let's see, oh, wait, here we go. Hey, look at that. She's got a background and everything. I'm going to bring you up. I'm going to bring you up on, oh, hi, there you go. And we're connecting audio on there. This is all working. Okay, I'm going to add you guys by hook or by crook to the stream of me talking to, going over Trump's presser, which and you guys have been, I don't know, you have been watching, I don't know if you've seen me do this at all, but we basically just go through and I just pause it for the shits and giggles of mocking this clown as he tries to take credit for essentially everything. Hold on, let's see if this will allow me. Oh, look at that. Yeah, there we go. As he tries to take credit for, oh, now we can see it. It's all going to work out. I'm very excited about this. We're configuring this live, so everybody, look at that. She's got a lovely background, and it's fantastic. Select a screen region. I'm going to choose this. Where is this going? There we go. I'll take this over here.
Do you like my back, Francis?
It's fantastic.
I love it.
Let's see. It's okay, and I hit return. Oh, look at that. Oh my God, that's so creepy.
Babysitting for my neighbor.
Oh, yeah. Come play with us, Danny, forever and ever and ever. Yeah.
They're really fun here. There's a maze out front. There's some strange white little girls behind you. I don't know if you noticed. Girl, don't turn around.
Is there another kind? Oh.
See, he knows.
Okay, so I'll bring this up here and see if we can see this. I think they can hear you. Speak. Let me see if I can.
Hello.
Yeah. Okay. You guys in the chat room, can you hear them? Okay. Let me know. You guys might be a little quiet. I will work that out. Let's see. Scott, do the screen capture. Oh, we got it. Oh wow! And you're stretching the limits of your earphones. We need to get you some. We need to like save up and get you some AirPods.
I have some, but I think they're dying.
Oh well, that happens. Like
People told me they're not hearing me.
We're all okay. We're all overusing our gear. So let's see. Streaming setup. Oh, let's see. Okay, so that's that. I will add Zoom to that, and they should. Yeah. Now they can hear you, but I can't. That's perfect. Okay,
oh, okay.
So let's do this. We'll put this on here, and we'll do my things, and then I will almost hear you, and then it'll be very exciting, and the whole thing is just super. And 1 second. There we go. Now, yes, I should be able to hear you. Yes. Can you guys check?
Yeah, check. Mic check.
Excellent.
Can you hear me?
Cool. So I will fix that for myself. Now, have you guys been watching these the daily insanity that is the these pressers, or do you watch them later, or can you stand them? Is there
I was gonna say
any part of this where it's even remotely helpful?
95% of the day, I do of the time I catch them, and I force my husband to watch them, who normally would not be watching them.
Right.
And it's wonderful because it's an opportunity to watch him curse and lose his mind.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
It's so necessary sometimes,
It is in a relationship. It is.
Right. You're just gonna figure out a way that we will gather these things. So let me roll on him. He's still taking questions at this point. I'm not doing the whole thing with you guys, but you'll hear it, I think. Let me check and make sure.
A record year, the biggest in the history of the airlines. Everybody was doing well. I mean, I was presiding over the most successful economy in the
Can you
history
hear
of
any
the
of that,
world.
by the way?
No.
Okay, all right.
I think
I'll fix.
we're going to have an absolute.
I'm just enjoying you trying to fix your camera at this point. So that's the
I'm
best
just
part
trying
of
to
this.
fix it up to hold it.
Right.
Because I'm at the strip club. I don't know if you could tell.
Oh, that's true. Nice. Nicely done. Super good. All right.
That's what I do, Hal. I come up with backgrounds for Zoom. That's what I do all day.
It's a contact sport. It's nothing to be ashamed of. I'm very impressed. We're all very impressed down here, I can tell you.
We're all very
right. Yeah, we're all very impressed down here, I can tell you. Don't you know? And I have to load you guys in. Wait, now I've got image, so everybody will be able to see you in just a second. I'm very Oops, what happened? I'm very excited about the whole thing. And there you go. Ta-da. All right, we're almost there. Everybody hang on in the chat room. I'm adding this part. I know you're excited. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Now you can see them and hear them. It's amazing. And now I'm in the process. Hang on for a moment. Let's see. Do I do a virtual camera out? Start there. That's right. Okay, we'll try this.
You look like you're running, Francis, like you're jogging.
I'm on the move.
That is so funny. Do you guys and how are you getting on Steph's show when you guys do it right now?
Was it FaceTime?
Yeah, FaceTime.
Yeah. Right, gotcha. Let's see. Okay. Go back. I'm not doing that right now. Okay. So it's very odd in terms of let's see. I want to pick something out of here. Okay, so we'll do that. And everybody's learning how to stream and do their thing live and raw in life right now. That's the amazing thing. Everybody's going to be in a week. Everyone's going to be an expert on like home streaming and all this stuff. I'm gonna teach a class on it eventually because it's a necessary aspect of this. Look at this. Look at that. Allow Zoom to share screen. I'm just a genius at this stuff. It's just a joy.
Yeah. I just look for background images just to tickle Francis. My whole reason for living now.
Isn't it? We're just doing side graphics and all this stuff. It's crazy. And you're going. I mean, you're being total pro in that you're going widescreen with it. And she's she was narrowcasting. Oh, now you're both full screen. Now I'm very impressed. Now it's very nice. Look at that.
I was eating my lunch in bed. And now I went to my office, and now it's it's a thing.
I got you out of bed. That's
amazing.
That in and of itself is a victory.
It is.
You cannot. Yes, there's never going to be a moment where we get enough quarantine joy out of this. So you guys have been hopping on. You've been on Steph's show. This is me changing. Let's see. We're using audio to Zoom is what I want to give you. There we go. And now you should be able to, in the process of this, hear him. Hold on.
Incredible fourth
quarter.
quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh. Oh, there he is. God damn it. So awful. How dare I? Yeah, the fascinating part to me is just like how we're all learning to live at home with we're narrow casting our lives right now.
Yep.
And how like what's the one thing where you feel like I've got this part down? That's the one thing I'm trying to share with everybody. Is like what in your in your finally like, you know what? I didn't have enough beans in the beginning, but now, I've recognized that too many beans can ruin the household.
Well, you know what? I'm going to say that I did have that very thought the other day, which was disaster shopping is specific to the disaster.
Right.
That's the first thing you learn. Because oftentimes people go, bread and milk. That's what I'm going to get during a tornado, right? But that has to be specific to a tornado. This is very different, and we don't all know how to do what we're doing right now. But we're figuring it out week to week. It's like I was like, oh, this is the part where you want fresh food because there's none. I've got a ton of dry goods.
That's right. Well, I'm curious how you fight off a tornado with a loaf of bread and a jug of milk, but I'm sure you could teach a class eventually. I'm standing out in front on my lawn going, get back! The power of Wonder Bread compels you.
Totally.
My thing has been get all your dry goods and your your comfort foods and all those things that you can prepare later that just require water, essentially, like the old, we can boil rainwater if it comes to that.
Exactly.
And save those. And then what I do is I fix all the delicious food for my girl and her kid, and then I eat sardine sandwiches in the beginning so that when we get to the tail end, I'm making birthday cakes. You know what I mean? Well, you have we've saved all the good stuff for when it's the worst, because you don't want to be at the point where you're running out of stuff and you're eating dog food. You eat the dog food first. If I've learned anything from The Walking Dead,
you eat the dog food
absolutely right.
Or Mad Max, you eat the dog food first. Right? Is the idea.
Right.
So, and it's great for my skin and my coat. My hair is, it's wonderful, and yeah, no hairballs. Yeah, so that's my thing. What about you, Angela? I'm trying to get who's
it's Angela. One of the things I've learned is that being an early riser in LA is really good for right now. Because nobody does like 8 a.m. here is really early. Right? So I go to the store at 8 a.m.
Well, because you were still working at night. Especially when you're a comedian, when your work day ends at midnight or 1 a.m. and you're still winding down after work, like people, the have a beer after work and wind down watching some shows, when that part of your day can start at 9, 10, 11, midnight, mornings have less meaning. Yeah.
Yep.
So, but now you get in there when there's fresh toilet paper.
That's right.
And you can
I got
dress
wipes. It was amazing.
Oh wow, that's
and paper towels.
The amount of bum care going on these days is crucial. So as we I'm going to try and roll some of this nonsense and see if you guys can get through any of these questions with what we do here and respond. So
maybe it's slightly after that, to be honest.
He's talking about, by the way, the reopening of the country.
But it's going to be in that time period. As soon as we get rid of this, I think we're going to have an explosion upward. It's going to be incredible.
Like a rocket ship. The economy, like a rocket ship, is going to go straight up like that. And I'm waiting to tell my Wall Street buddies when to buy in, right before I know.
Totally.
Exactly.
Which is what this is all about. Will
Richard Burr be selling or buying more stock? These are things I want to know now.
I'm so mad for Martha Stewart. Y'all put Martha in jail.
Seriously.
For what was it, 50 grand?
Yeah. It's absurd. These have all, Trump's chaos trades have been something he's been doing all along because he recognized early on that if he talks crap about a company and their contracts for a week, their stock will take a dip. His buddies can buy in. And if you're buying in at where you're buying $1 million worth of stock, that 1%, that 2%, that 7% makes a massive difference. If you can only afford to buy 2 shares.
Their debt? Absolutely.
Yeah. So
They should
that's
all be in jail. I
he's
just
going to ask.
can't.
Yeah, he's going to ask another question.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has issued some of the fewest restrictions in the country, yet Florida has the highest percentage of elderly in the country.
That's true.
Do you
That's so true. There's so many old people down there, and a lot of New Yorkers have just gone down there. So there's that.
believe Governor DeSantis is handling this well? Do you have
I do,
confidence?
because he's a very talented guy. He's a very good governor. Everyone loves him. He's doing a fantastic job for Florida.
I don't.
He was not happy with the people coming down from New York. You know, they're flying down from New York, and he had
Like
a
you.
state.
Yeah, right. He was very
You
upset.
just moved to Florida.
He was saying, "What are these garbage people from New York coming down?" Right as my wife and I walked off the plane, we're like, "Look how upset he is."
And has a state with.
Well,
you know,
here's
obvious-
what you're going to see is if this stuff goes left, you're going to have people going, you can't come to my state.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's they just asked him a little bit ago about quarantining people as they come into the state itself.
Obviously, a lot less problems. Florida's been doing really well in the sense of
No, they haven't.
testing. The testing has shown much better results. I mean, they'll talk to you about that
They'll talk about that. I don't really.
later. But no, he was very unhappy with the people coming
So good.
down from New York, and I understand that. No, Ron's a very tough guy. He's a great governor, and
Maybe we
I
should
have
build a wall around
tremendous
Florida.
confidence.
Maybe
in
you
him.
can bite the virus.
Oh, that's what the yeah. We'll just stick gators on it. Come on, man. You don't got to worry about it. We're gonna have Florida man from the Panhandle. He's gonna he's gonna jump coronavirus on his bicycle while his ass is on fire. And you will not.
Yeah.
Come on.
You know,
Come
he had the
on.
Situation.
He's going to meet
that.
everybody.
Ooh.
Everybody.
I am itching to hit someone.
Yeah. Easy. All right,
He
here we
will
go.
get it all resolved. Yeah.
He's gonna take care of it like no one has ever taken care of anything before. Please.
2 questions, Mr. President. First,
Uh-oh, it's an accent. It's always tough for him with an accent. Here it comes.
yesterday in your letter to the
And a woman.
government, you said that you want to categorize certain counties of high risk, medium risk, and low risk. Practically speaking, how are you going to enforce that? How can you stop people from
You have to go.
Leaving one county and going to another.
I think you just asked that, Francis.
You can't? Like,
Louder. You have to speak louder.
you need to speak
Speak
louder.
louder.
Pretend I'm a foreigner and
I
Really,
don't speak
speak
Just-
louder is code for lose the accent.
that's right, yeah. Speak like you are telling me where to go in no hotel in this area, fat guy. All right.
Sorry, how are you going to stop people from going from high risk areas to low risk areas?
I think we're just gonna you know what, Dr. Fauci will talk about it. Bye.
Is he there?
To the governors.
Yeah, Fauci's standing
Fauci
over
back?
on the side. Yeah,
Okay,
he's
good.
yeah.
We
was
have
worried they
some very,
disappeared
very
him.
strong restrictions, but you're right. I don't like it.
Well, okay. Well, and, all right.
Doesn't
don't
like
like
it.
I'm gonna
Jason, I
stop
like
it. I'm gonna stop it by not liking it. How easy is that?
So we're seeing how it works. The data is coming in on
It worked. My wife uses that, to stop sex.
Monday and Tuesday, and we're going to see how it looks. But, can we go to a tougher level? We can, but that causes other problems. We're going to see, and we'll be reporting back very shortly after my meetings with Tony, Deborah, and others that we're going to be meeting, and our vice president.
Tony and
we're
Deborah.
going to be
Okay.
And
Never
others
going to
and
talk to it.
people
Never
and
gonna talk to
reporting
the
back
virus.
to the media.
But it's behavior.
Please, Connor.
yeah. Can you? They're gonna talk very hard about it. That's my favorite answer. Is like
Beautifully.
They're
Beautifully.
working very hard on something we should be working smart on.
Hi, Mr. President. Owen Jensen with EWTN News. Millions of school kids across the country are home, including my own, bored, restless.
Can you please
learning-
take them?
Many kids are home alone, roaming around. I'm here. I really just had to get out of the friggin' house. Honestly, I was going to choke
Don't
the
have a
crap out of
question.
these little ragamuffins.
A little bit online, but it's better
Go
in the
get
classroom.
these children.
I admire all of you breeders. I really do.
I got an 8-year-old. He's learning online right now. And my girlfriend's kid is got 1 semester left before he graduates. He's basically done. High school finished for him already. Like he's not going to have a graduation. He's not going to have an end of the year, and he couldn't be happier.
And my kids,
my kid couldn't be happier either. This is her 8th grade year.
Yeah.
She's like, oh my goodness. She's like, you know what? I love going to school without the bullshit. It's fantastic.
Right. She's got a spicy vocabulary for an 8th grader.
Oh, and I mean, it's lively.
Oh, indeed. Yeah. She's learning new words being at home all the time. That's the one thing. My kid's vocabulary is expanding greatly. He was,
Exactly.
You called the president something yesterday that I couldn't quite hear.
On the walls and climbing the walls, and my wife is about to lose it, right? So.
Oh, why is this dude just bitching at you know what it's like to do kid stuff, Mr. President?
Many of them are watching right now. What would you say to those kids right now, elementary school, middle school?
I would say that you are a very bad reporter.
High school. What would you tell them right now who are watching from home?
I would say that you are a citizen of the greatest country anywhere in the world. And we were attacked like nothing that's happened possibly since 1917, many years
it's
ago.
actually 1918.
We were attacked. And we're
1917
winning
was
the
a Russian
battle, and we're
Revolution.
going to win the
Whatever.
war. And
He gets them mixed up. You have to understand. Those are very upsetting dates for him on a couple of fronts.
it's not going to take, hopefully, that much longer, but we have to win the war.
I understand that in your life, because you're 9, that this is a much bigger percentage of your time on Earth. I'm old, so this is like a week for me. This is like waiting for Christmas for you.
And I would say that they have a duty to sit back, watch, behave, wash their hands, stay in the apartment with mom and dad. They look like
Stay in the apartment with mom and dad, like poor people do.
they're lucky to have you as a father.
Yeah, and let your mom and dad go to work because we need to get this economy going because I need to make money.
I've watched
goodbye.
That's right. Kiss your grandmother goodbye. And look, I used to watch The Little Rascals when I was a kid. You guys can be fine on your own. I've seen the sandwiches you can make and the stock car rallies you had in the street. Just get a dog.
And just learn from
Don't
it.
the
But,
poor children play something with sticks?
Yeah, just learn something,
This is what's interesting. When this happened in 1918, they let the kids out of school, and if you were 7th grade or above, they sent you out if you were in the Boy Scouts to go up and ask for help and sign people up. Could you imagine engaging children like that?
Oh, well,
today?
that was when child labor, much like DeVos would like to bring it back now,
Right.
was pretty okay.
But if this had happened last year when Epstein was alive,
the young people have been tremendous.
they've been great. These kids, I don't see any of them, and I don't know when the last time. My wife tells me Barron is happy in seclusion.
What? Barron in years. I know he hasn't been
I
Barron
know.
in years.
You don't even know what Barron looks like.
He's about to say, they're very happy to go to.
Well, you understand that. Perhaps yours, perhaps not. But we have literally had no problem. But again,
No problem with children and schools and poverty.
And they should just-
Really? Because I don't think that's true.
I don't know. No.
sit back and be very proud of our country.
Just sit back, relax, have a little dinner, have a little something to eat. Just eat something.
Because we're doing it for them.
Stay in the
we
house.
are doing.
Go to the Big Mac's table, get a Big Mac.
Stay in the house. Have a good cry.
Ultimately, we're doing it for them.
Watch Dad.
Chocolate cake.
Just have a piece of chocolate cake
More than
and
anything
shut
else,
the
if you
F
think
up.
about it.
Yeah. And
These are wonderful.
No,
The
just
other thing that's
like
nice, and the one thing that has come out, and I learned this, again, it was reaffirmed by President Xi last night in my conversation. The young people are really
before he went to
an
sleep.
incredible phenomena, but
So
they
good.
are
See,
attacked,
it's Donnie.
successfully attacked to a much lesser extent by this pandemic. But
We were successfully attacked to much less an extent by this.
Does that make any sense?
In his
We
head.
were successfully attacked.
We were successfully attacked, but at a much less successfully.
disease.
Please ask me another question before
This,
Let him have his fucking
whatever
rally.
they want to call it, you go to
You could whatever you want to call it. That's my favorite thing is he can't come up with a nickname for this damn thing. So whatever you want to call it, you could call it a government response, whatever you want to call it. You could call it a disease, the unseen, the invisible enemy, the
germ. You can call it
You could call it a germ.
a flu. You can call.
You could call
I decided
it.
to stop talking about people who decided to meet in their churches and what have you. Go ahead. If this is, if Trump wants to send people out and invite them to go and meet up in their church,
Yeah.
go right ahead. You get to practice your religion how you want to in this country.
Yeah.
And if you believe that your prayers is going to save you from this virus, I invite you to go ahead and prove me wrong.
Do it. Yeah.
Well, I'll have you know that the virus does not come via rattlesnake, and snake handlers have not yet been bitten by an animal that has given them coronavirus. So,
Oh, okay.
You call it a virus.
just for the record, game, set, match.
You can call it many different names. I'm not sure anybody
Game,
knows.
set,
what
They're
it
not calling it different names.
Hold on,
It's
hold on.
COVID-19.
Wait, listen to what he just said. Hold on a second.
This, whatever they want to call it. You can call it a germ. You can call it a flu. You can call it a virus. You can call it many different names. I'm not sure anybody even knows what it is.
No.
No, I'm not even sure anyone knows what it is. We know exactly what it is. It's a
I think Dr. Fauci just crapped his pants.
yeah, right.
That poor man.
Yeah, I'm not even sure anyone knows.
But the children do very well.
The children know. Teach the children well.
Oh no, I wouldn't get anything.
Because, no, you have to understand. I believe, and some people may have said this. I don't know if people have said this before. I may be the first person to say it. But I believe the children are our future. And if you treat them well, let them lead the way. Of course, behind me.
It's almost the younger they are, the better they do. I guess.
Actually, I've heard that fetuses are having a great time.
They're so good. The dumber you are, the more you understand this. That's why I have a better grasp on it than most people have.
Yeah.
The immune system is.
She's got a natural talent for it.
Sadly, for some of us, their immune system is stronger. But
Wow. Sadly, for some of us, their immune system is stronger.
Is stronger. Yep.
So it's their fault. If you die, it's like it's on you.
It's your weak genes.
Yeah.
And he's like, if only babies were dying, like people under 10-year-olds were dying, but old people could say, that's what that meant. That is the can you imagine the amount of Pizzagate, Hillary drinks blood storylines that would come out of the internet if she had been, if she had said that? I mean, she wouldn't. And that's the if then, like, I heard Obama, different types of, if you eat different kinds of cheese. Right.
But actually, I'm very happy about that.
Dig your way out of that statement, dude.
But they have been attacked, for instance, the Spanish flu.
Like any other president.
If you look at
any other president.
H1N1, the swine, if you take a look at the swine flu.
Who taught him H1N1?
No, he's been talking, he knows about it because it happened during Obama-Biden. And so he knows Ebola and H1N1 because they keep saying that. Even though, if you'll recall, we didn't have to shut down the entire economy due to H1N1 or
I wasn't
Ebola.
staying in my house.
There were no pandemics. This is all.
There was plenty of toilet paper.
His administration's fault.
Yep. Yes.
And you know what? And I'm sick and tired of everybody being like, well, you know what? Now's not the time to blame anybody.
Oh, it is the time. It's exactly the time.
Now is the time to go on record that this is why you don't get rid of pandemic response teams when you're trying to. Yeah. Right.
Thank you, Hal.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So we're going to, and he said earlier, he was like, we're going to set up something so from now on, I'm like, the Obama administration already did that. They had that same experience, but there was no system set up. And so they made one, and he set fire to it.
Yeah, they told you about it. They had a special meeting where they told you all about it.
They ran. Yeah, right.
So long ago, that attacked very strongly young children, kids, middle-aged people, everyone. age is a
Everyone,
age is a
Uh-oh, somebody fell off their stool. Fauci just fell off his
factor
stool.
here. So your children should be in good shape. But just
You know
tell them to
what?
be.
What if you saw a chain?
Tony needed a little sip, a little nip before he
Yeah.
goes out there. He has
Just
to go out there and
He's
tell
got,
the truth.
he's got the hardest.
You know, you
job
can't
in the
tell
world
from
right now.
you may not understand that from my accent that I am from New York. And, this president, it says, quite frankly, things that make me want to hit him with a large sock filled with horse manure.
Be very proud of the country. Okay.
Just to follow up real quickly.
Look, he just said, your kids will be fine. Because, and the guy didn't say, but he's assuming the guy's kids are under 10, who, seem to be the immune cases we're seeing. But they just had a 17-year-old with no insurance die. And he's like, well, your kids, if they live at home with you, they're probably older, younger than that. And if you and your wife die, they'll just live at home.
Quickly,
They can get a job.
What kind of, I saw Lord of the Flies, funniest movie I've ever seen in my life.
The risk become an acceptable one to allow people to go back to their lives. Maybe
Well, we're
Dr.
going to make that
Fauci would-
determination, and you're going to have something to do with that. And look, we're going to be guided.
Oh, you
also.
could have something to do.
some
Oh,
rules-
We're going to ask the reporters.
What do you think, reporter?
Hey, OAN, when should we start the country again? As soon as we weaponize the virus to only kill Democrats.
Feelings. The media. I'll tell you what. The media generally. I mean, I've impressed. A lot of the media
That was Siri. She's listening to me.
has been fair.
A lot of the media has been fair.
We need to put a stop to that because.
Well, as the
This is
room
his
has thinned, as the room has thinned out and they've stopped giving, access.
Yeah.
Right.
Not used to fair treatment in the media. I don't
No,
know.
when you look up and Sean Spicer's in the room, no.
Yeah.
He's not used to fair treatment. I don't give a fuck what he's used to.
Right.
Like,
You don't have to understand, okay? This is, we need, hold on. I want to see if I can get, let's see. I wanted to make you gallery view. Does that do it? Okay, yeah. And then hide my camera. Hide self view. That's better. Okay, now I can get both of you on camera at the same time and it doesn't have to bounce back and forth. I'm learning, this is on the curve.
I handled it. But the
Yeah,
media
that's why I have all three screens up.
Oh yeah, this is you have to understand, like this is my first time putting Zoom into my situation. This is so I'm on massive flow because I've been using Skype, I've been using the built-in stuff, I've been and so folks at home, you guys understand, I'm teching my way through this.
has really been overall. I think the media has been pretty fair. Some not.
It's oh my God, this is where he starts whining.
I mean, I could tell you who, but what's the point?
Just
But
go
the
ahead.
media has really been fair. I mean, they view this as that we're all in a problem together, and we're going to win. We're going to win. Please.
Yes, thank you, President Trump.
Thank you, President Trump. It's OAN. He must be. I think he's probably leaving soon. That's going to be my guess. Is that as soon as if he's getting ready to leave, that's usually when he calls on OAN.
Look at that. We'll leave him with a good taste in his mouth.
Oh yeah, right.
New York is currently the epicenter of the outbreak in the U.S. with about half of the cases.
Yeah.
Yesterday, Kellyanne Conway laid a lot of the blame for that on the mayor, pointing out that he told people to go about life as normal and he resisted closing schools and businesses.
Like
I'm
the
wondering if you
president?
agree, and also if I could ask you your thoughts on the stimulus bill preventing aid to your businesses. Do you think that's fair? And
Do you think it's fair that this prevents aid to your businesses?
what are your thoughts on that?
Well, that's not happening. I mean, I think they wrote us out, and that's all right. But that's not happening. As far as the mayor of New York, I'll be honest, I didn't know him well.
I think they wrote us out.
He and I are obviously opposite persuasions, and we would go at it, but we didn't.
What? I didn't realize. So is he calling Cuomo gay, or is what is?
I don't know what
We're
he's
obviously
saying.
different persuasions. He's leather. He's into leather.
That's a new word
I'm
for him.
I'm into
That's a new
vinyl.
word for
It's a different thing. It may seem the same to the layperson. Huge difference
Right.
in the fetish
I'm a furry.
community. I'm
Not
a
a furry.
furry. He's got his fetishes go. Yeah.
I don't know if we ever spoke other than to maybe say hello a couple of times. I did down at the Memorial.
Well, that's true of
World Trade
everybody,
Center
though. Is there
Memorial.
anybody who's done more than brought coffee or said hello?
No, no.
Trump, I mean,
The man has no friends. Can we be abundantly clear? Like, he has sycophants, and he has some family members that know that if they don't talk to him, they won't get the assets in the will. They're going to bury the debt with him and keep the assets. That's what they've been like building since he became president, and probably for years before that, but definitely now. They're trying to bury the debt with when he dies and keep all the stuff as best they can. And the branding stuff, like, that's why they've been shifting. I mean, he hasn't built a building on his own since, if ever, since 89, 90. And the company has never, ever made a profit. Can we be Fred Trump made a profit. His Trump's sister made a profit in her life. She had a salary that was more than what it cost her to get to work. That has never been true for Donald Trump. Donald Trump's company has never made $1 of profit. Not a one. We have, you have,
6 times,
I have.
6 times bankrupted.
Oh yeah, totally. But even with
which
the
is a sign of success.
That's true. That's true. Good point. Touche.
Long time ago. So I've spoken to him a lot, Mayor de Blasio, and we've really had incredibly productive discussions. I've gotten him a lot of people. We've gotten him a medical center. He's asked
got him a medical
for
center?
at Elmhurst.
Yeah.
Does he know that? Does he have to pick it up at the
Yeah, he left it. It's in a warehouse in New Jersey. They just didn't tell him where it was.
Oh, okay.
You didn't hear. I don't know. You guys didn't hear that part. They sent some ventilators from the stockpile and they put them in a warehouse in New Jersey. And he's like, they didn't even know they were there. It's like, jackass, you're supposed to tell them when they arrive.
No, you just send an Uber Eats over to pick it up.
That's right. Yeah.
It's like getting your pizza delivered to your front door. They don't even ring the doorbell. They just leave the pizza at the front door, and you're supposed to intuit.
Yeah, and then you find out, and the next morning you're like, why have we not gotten an update on the app or anything that the pizza's arrived? And the next day you step on it on your way to work.
I know
Exactly.
Elmhurst very well. I mean, that was an area of Queens that I grew up in. And boy, you talk about an epicenter. That's really the epicenter of the epicenter. That's really something we talked about.
It's amazing how the grasp of the language that he has. It's really the epicenter of where things are mostly happening right now.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about it.
I was just going to say that the numbers are a lie, and that's the thing that makes me the angriest, because the numbers that you're seeing out of New York are simply the number of people who have been tested.
Right.
If we were able to test people as aggressively in Florida, in California, Angela and I were both sick last week, couldn't get a test.
Right. Well, I mean, mental illness is not under the previous.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
True.
Like, that's what I'm just saying.
Cal raises an excellent point, Francis.
It is.
The voices did tell us that too.
Look, that's what they told me when I went, and I was like, look, just because I'm in a chicken suit does not mean I'm not a gainfully employed comedian. I really do this for a living, right?
And one of my personalities is very old.
That's right. Here we go.
And knowing it,
She had
being so
tuberculosis
familiar
as a
with it,
child.
it's incredible to see where they have the trucks. I don't have to go into great detail.
You couldn't. He can't. He was like, I'll tell you the details at some point. Nah.
Refrigerated trucks coming up, and I've never seen anything like it.
I've never seen anything
You've
like
never seen a refrigerated truck?
Trucks, right. So many trucks.
And they're cold inside.
Who would have thought this was even possible? I talked to the guy from Wendy's. They're going to be helicoptering in ventilators.
I've spoken with Mayor de Blasio a lot in the last week. We've helped him, I think, a lot. And I've really gotten to like him. I get along with him very well. Now, he wants us to do certain things, and we've produced. I mean, today I spoke to him with the Secretary of Defense, Esper, and we had a great conversation, and we're helping him get some of the things he needs. I don't have to go into great detail, but he's...
So that's the whole point of this is detail.
Yeah, that's what you're right. That's such a good point. Yes, the whole point is to give the American people new and valid details in this circumstance. And
it's not just to check in with you.
But that's what he thinks. This is everybody's opportunity to kiss his ring.
Right. Yeah. People, look. they love these because they wonder, how am I doing? How am I?
Why couldn't they
because
just why couldn't they just keep him on The Apprentice? Had they just kept him on that damn show?
I blame Mark Burnett. This is
Thank
Mark
you.
Burnett's fault.
Yeah.
Especially for not releasing the video we all know exists. And
You know that
what
you know that tape
Yes, we do.
is someplace in Mark Burnett's like it's not even in a safe. It's like in a Foot Locker at the edge of his couch. You know what I'm saying?
It's on his It's on his bookshelf. He's got Mark Burnett at home has a bookshelf behind him. Let's see. Trump N-word, Trump C-word, Trump makes fun of the poor, Trump Mexican, Trump gays. Like he's gonna
wow.
You know what I mean?
It's a lot of material.
Ladder of his crazy.
That's right.
About what we were able to do for him today. And he's like us. He's working very hard. But I can't say anything bad about Mayor de Blasio. I mean, my relationship with him
I'm sure
over
you
the
can.
last
Give it
couple
another
of
30
weeks
seconds.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
has been
Give them a week when the shit really starts to hit the fan. Because when they start running out of beds, have you guys seen the COVID projection site that projects what your state's going to be like and all that stuff? The shortfall of beds and ICU units and the shortfall of ventilators is
How we've
horrifying.
been talking about and looking at COVID as you have since December?
Yes.
We were having conversations about what will happen to us in January. Angela and I, my husband and I was talking about, stocking up in January.
That's
I am
right.
a comedian.
Right.
But you're better prepared than the federal government.
Right.
I'm a comedian, and I did better than the federal government.
That's right. I was
in charge.
I'm working on it. But hey, if I'm going to run on a
what
Zaphod
an
Beeblebrox.
That would be.
Oh, I like it. I like it. I'll be
Can
your
I be
VP.
Secretary of Defense.
Oh, you can. Yes. You can be Secretary of De Palm. Get back. Yeah.
No, you're Secretary of the Poll, Angela.
Right. Get back 6 feet back. Right. Here we go. All right. So, that's right. Hold on. Here we go.
excellent. And we've done a good job for him, too.
Yeah. He's getting tired of this, by the way. He's starting to wind down. He's about to hand the baton.
It's not fun like the rallies where people yell his name.
But that's why he's doing it.
There's been a lot of talk about ventilators and PPE and that kind of thing. But what about hospital capacity? And are you prepared for this?
I'm going to be kissing a boat tomorrow or Saturday or sometime over the weekend. I will be lip smacking a boat as it leaves a harbor, which has 1,000 beds on it that you can't use for COVID because it's like, who thinks to send basically a cruise ship to solve this problem?
For the stories
So we're
that are
doing
going
that.
to
Great
come.
question. We're increasing capacity.
Oh, great question.
Right. We're actually adding on through the Army Corps of Engineers. This is a big job, and we're doing it in many states, not just New York and California. By the way, Gavin Newsom's been terrific. I have to tell you, the governor of California, we're getting.
He learned that if you don't kiss his ass, you're not going to get necessary stuff. And New York and
right.
The other thing too is New York and California jumped on this with both feet early.
Yeah.
And so they got what they needed because there was still a stockpile. The stockpile is gone.
Yeah.
And let me tell you this. This is the other thing, and I brought this up on our podcast recently.
Right.
If you live in Iowa, are you telling me that if I live in Iowa, you're telling me that my life is dependent on my governor being able to fight California for supplies?
Yes.
California had a surplus. We had a 21 billion surplus or something.
Yeah, of money. We've spent it all. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gone now, but
yeah. And
we shouldn't be competing. That's why we have a federal government. There's states should not be competing with each other for anything.
That's what Cuomo threw back at Trump like 4 days ago. He's like, we're buying up everything that exists, but you have to coordinate this on a federal level because we're going to use all of them. New York is going to need every single ventilator it can get its hands on. If there's 30,000 in the world, New York is going to buy all of them. And Maine and Massachusetts and Louisiana and Texas are going to be SOL because there won't be any left. That's why
And
the
those
federal government.
12 states that aren't doing anything yet.
Yeah, and it's
the GDP of California, we're bigger than nations.
yes.
And you can't compete.
No.
You're talking about two states. It's 25% of the country's GDP, and you're gonna tell Alabama that it's gonna go up against California. Michigan, they put in a whole order. They got 25% of their order because they had to fight against the federal government, who then
which is ridiculous.
talking about they're gonna turn around and give it to you.
That's right. Yeah, it is
It's inane.
Yeah, well, and it's insulting, for the people who know better in the states. Like when he's like, some of these states are just like whining about stuff, and like, no, they're confronting the reality that they're all the necessary stuff that they're looking at is going to be gone by the time it's too late. Like the nerve of this dude.
We're getting along.
But we're doing such a good job, you guys. Such a good job.
Really well. We're working
There's just
hard
no
for them. As you know, the
information, and I don't
hospital
know why they that's what we want. We want
And the numbers are a
information.
lie.
Yeah. I mean, did you guys see the Biden roundtable he did today?
No.
He live streamed it from his from the their campaign site, but he had like a couple of Congress people, and then nurses union, EMTs, doctors, and nurse practitioners who are all being called up, and he went through and explained to everybody the aspects of the bill that just went through and who to ask for what when you need it. Because a lot of people are going to get this stuff or have it available to them, but they're not going to know you need to, that's like Biden's team that he put together a couple of weeks ago that Trump's, the day after Trump starts having these little things because he's getting called out on this horseshit. Biden's team basically put back together the people who worked on the pandemic response team. He basically called them in and said, work for the campaign, help us coordinate this. And they started calling all the governors and saying, look, this is what you need to ask for from the federal government. This is what they can do. The White House has no idea what the law says or what you have a right to. You need to call them and have them start giving you this, because as somebody who's been in the White House and started that team, we know legally all the stuff that can be called up. So right the day after that, that's when Trump's office started bitching at all the governors who were calling him up going, we need this, you need to send this, you need to declare an emergency. All those things started happening because Biden's already president. Like, that's nuts.
Gosh, please.
The other hospital ship.
Oh, he's going to go kiss the boats.
They are incredible.
The Comfort, the Mercy. My favorite thing about them, they're white. Anyways. The whitest boats you have ever seen. They've got big red crosses on them. I think that's a Native American thing. I don't know what the holidays are anymore.
But Gavin Newsom has been really good, and so many of the governors.
Made me snore, Hal.
All right. Spike the ball. I should get a super chat just for that, you guys. Where's this? Help me out. Help me out, people in there.
Governors that I've been fighting with about different things for a long time, the forest fires in his case, and the border, and all sorts of things. And
the stuff that seems so trivial now that Mexico shut the border and nobody gives a crap about climate change right now because we're all going to die sooner.
Here we are, getting along very well.
It's so fun. I wish we had a pandemic more often, honestly.
He's so crazy.
Yeah.
Melania's holding my hand now.
Yeah, right. No, she's not. She has an excuse not to. Now, I used to feel bad when she swatted it away. Now I get it.
And I appreciate his nice words. I really do.
Yeah, because you.
Fuck off.
I know that whole just ask. You have to kiss his ass or you get nothing.
Yeah,
it's
nothing.
It's the Willy Wonka presidency.
It is an incredible exercise.
I was going to say on the issue
like
of hospital
compromising
capacity
your
and
values,
beds
and how far you
good
compromise
Yeah.
your values to be able to get anything out of this man, to be able to work with anything out from this man, and and then at the end of the day, to be able to even sit in that office and walk in.
You know what I think about all the time is when he first got in there, and even I think probably it's still true, people talking about how sometimes things didn't happen, meetings didn't happen because they just didn't know where the light switch was. They didn't know how. Nobody has any experience or any skills, and they're just there to be cheerleaders for his ego. And so when
Right.
there's time to actually do something, nobody knows what to do or that they can do anything.
Jared's got it, Angela. Jared has it.
Yeah, he's got it covered, you guys. I don't know what your problem is. Do you not know? He's got, like, he's going to get they solved the Israeli problem right now. It's done. The Israeli-Palestinian problem is solved. We're bombing Iran in secret. I mean, yeah.
Hospitals.
But I think about what's happening in the military too with this. Like they are totally not prepared.
Well, they can't be because I mean they don't even think the other threats are real, much less this one. I mean, like, and I've argued for a long time. We've talked about this a bunch, but that the real need in this circumstance when you're talking about disease, everybody talks about like the healthcare system as a and I don't know why you got your shot got small or something. I will fix that. I'm fixing that right now. Hold on. There we go. I'm fixing something on the stream so they can see you. There we go. Ta-da! Oh, and thank you so much, Grycicle, for the super chat. I appreciate that.
Best name, Grycicle.
Yeah, Grycicle. I like it. Yeah, there's a. We look at healthcare and everybody's like, well, it's part of the general welfare clause. That's the big fight that's always been put forward as part of our, how we discuss these things. And I've always said it should fall under the common defense because you have a higher chance of being killed by a disease than you do being murdered by a soldier from another country. Just
and then the discussion of biowarfare, which
right.
I was kooky in the first place, but there is a discussion to be had.
Yeah. Well, we now know how ill prepared we are for it currently. You know what I mean?
It wouldn't be that hard. You wouldn't even have to be in an organization or really work at it.
Yeah. It's and now they know what the spread and what our impact capabilities will be. I mean, cyber attacks fall under this kind of thing. They have a cyber attack. Yep. And then it's usually a lighter one. They do these little test attacks to see what your weaknesses are. And then the big one comes. Whether this, turns out to have at some point been intentional in an Alex Jones universe, or if it was an accident, or if it, that happened because of mishandling of viruses in China, which happens, or an actual regular, naturally contagious disease, all of those possibilities show the weaknesses in our system. And unless we shore them up, for the national defense, we're screwed.
Yep. And now we're talking about that there are 8 different strains of this particular virus. Are you kidding me?
Well, the interesting thing about that though is that there will be multiple versions of a disease like this anyways. That's just a fact, Right. The ones that, one of them will be more virulent and hard to fight off, and that's the one we're more than likely dealing with currently. The other ones that will come and they will be so similar in a lot of ways that they will, you can kind of expect that we will have a herd immunity. If we have one, we'll have a herd immunity to the rest, unless there's a flu-like variant. Which is a possibility as well. I mean, there's all these factors that we have to look into. But currently, our only real problem is this version, this strain. Most people aren't getting reinfected, which is a good sign. But there's all sorts of underlying. We'll talk about that after he's finished with his stream. I'll have if you guys are up for it. Let's keep we'll roll through him, and then I want to discuss your kind of thoughts going forward because I think he's about done. Uh-oh. Who's cooking?
Latifah, check the stove. There's no Latifah here.
Is that? Oh, I see. I got you.
No problem.
No problem.
We have a very sensitive smoke alarm.
I know.
It senses bullshit, and Trump is talking.
Oh, it's setting it off. Yeah, it's entirely possible. I had an issue with mine because I was using.
You can mute your button too. You're done.
Well, yeah, it's done. Is that whenever I honey glaze salmon when I'm cooking it for my girlfriend, if I put it in too early in the process, a little bit of it will drizzle off onto the pan and create just enough invisible sugar smoke to set off the alarm. And yes, I did just flex on how good a cook I am. So let's
Sugar
continue.
Smoke is my new stripper name.
It is. It is.
I think you
Y'all, did you catch Sugar Smoke? She was on that 2-story pole and she fell off.
That's
she
right.
Fell off in the middle of twerking.
She slid down it. She slid down it. The pole was too dry, and that's where her name came from.
Yes.
Sugar Smoke.
It was like she was like a sexy Boy Scout fire thing. Just all right.
True. Goes through
there you
things
go.
And
by the way,
normally this, in all fairness, this is done normally through local government. We don't go into cities and expand a hospital that's existing, but we're doing.
Yeah, normally, normally when there's a pandemic. Exactly. Yeah, we know, dude. That's
doing it now because we
but
really
he
are
himself says
equipped
that nobody's
to do it.
ever
We
gone
have
through this before, but then he goes
incredible people.
normally.
And we're expanding hospitals. We're building many portable hospitals.
They're not portable.
Oh, really? We are? Who's we and where?
They fold up into a suitcase. It's like something out of Get Smart.
Totally.
Portable hospital.
Just add water, then we make
That's right.
hospitals.
You know those little dinosaurs you can get when you go to the museum and you pour water in and then they expand in the jar overnight and they never look as good as you thought they would? It's like sea monkeys. Yeah. I'm building the sea monkeys of hospitals.
Javits Center. You have 4, plus you have 4 medical centers, but we're doing it in New Jersey. Governor Murphy, we're doing it in other states. We're doing it in California. We're doing some in the state of Washington.
Because legally we're required to under the FEMA Emergency Preparedness Act.
Despite the fact that
like why do you want credit for stuff? Do you guys understand that? The whole taking credit for stuff that you have to do?
Praise me. Yeah. Here's the thing, and you know what? And what he has done is redefine how a person presidents. Because at the end of the day, all the things he talks about, every other president has had to do some form or fashion, but they didn't just sit there and ask their ego to be stroked every time they took the inhale.
We have a continuity of government. That's the whole point, right? And this administration, which using that term seems ridiculous, this group
is incontinent.
Of idiots, they're incontinent, and they don't understand that every time a new president comes in, that you don't get rid of everything that the last president did or ignore it, because that's how we have a continuity of government. And it's amazing to me.
Look, Putin doesn't have to do that. He doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
What he does is he switches position with a puppet that he puts in, and then he just rotates. You can only be president or prime minister for so long. Right. So he's president, then he's prime minister, then he's president, then he's prime minister. Now he's up, so he's changing the whole government like Xi Jinping. I don't see what the problem is. That is the amazing part of the whole thing, you guys.
Crazy. Appreciative of the way.
You better vote by mail.
We're doing it in a lot of different locations, and we're doing a lot of expansions. We're also taking over buildings, and the city will go in, or the state usually will go in, take over the building.
Yeah.
And we go in and equip it and make it so that it's now hospital functioning.
Where? Show me one. Show me one.
Yeah, he does. He's talking about the Javits Center and all that other stuff, and it's not. It has nothing to do with FEMA does this kind of stuff every time we have an emergency. Why do you want like a pat on the back for doing what's legally required?
Hospital functioning?
No, that's how he fluffs up his whole resume.
Right.
That's his whole resume.
You guys are
he's like
so
the toddler
lucky.
Who gets a treat for using the toilet.
Right. Yeah. That's great. But no. He's
like,
you know what he's like?
Boo-boo in the toilet.
No, a toddler should get a treat for using the toilet because they don't know how to do it and they don't know they're supposed to do it. He's like a 15-year-old who still wants the treat to use the toilet. Mom, Dad, come on. I pooped in the bowl, okay?
In the bowl thingy.
Almost none of it got on the floor. Give me a new game.
We're doing a lot of that. Again, this is normally done by governors and then give it to the city to do. You bring it into the point.
No, it isn't. None of that is true.
It's not at all. None of that.
Pandemic response is not.
Absolutely not. That's why we
normally.
have FEMA.
Normally, this is. It's an Andy Griffith kind of a thing.
A city could never do it. A city could never do that. Most states could never do the things that need to be done here. That is why we have a federal government. This is the thing about spending years trying to demonize the concept of government.
Right, yeah. The worst thing you can hear is, I'm from the government, I'm here to help. Local government, anyways.
But we're doing a lot of that, and they're doing a great job, mostly done by the Army Corps of Engineers and FEMA.
A couple questions on those governors.
Yeah, because that's who you send, because that's the way the
Yeah.
law is written.
Your
Like,
team
again,
obviously you've
I,
had classified
He could be in
briefings
a
on
coma
the
and that would
pandemic I
happen.
assume,
I
for a
don't-
while now. Were the governors included in those briefings that you would have got in January and February? When
That I
did you
don't
warn
know.
the governors, as you
That
would
I
have had
don't-
the information first?
Yeah. Well, they say I had classified briefings a long time ago, which
They
wasn't
say
true. But
I had classified
They
briefings.
say.
we've had briefings, and
That's
as
what
I
they
know
said.
it, the governors have also had many briefings
The rumor.
by the
I
federal
guess, to
government.
tell them this thing was coming. This was a.
Oh, I think
a
we
bullet
knew.
train.
I think we knew for a while. But if you take a look, I was the first one to say to China, and I
Oh, he
have great
loves to
respect
hang his
for
hat
China.
on that.
I will tell you that. But I was the
Yeah.
first one when they had the problem to say you can't come in. And
he shut travel coming into China after people were not allowed to leave Wuhan. And he allowed
Yeah.
anybody who had flown through another country from there to come in, which meant business people. So if business,
Oh, I know somebody who flew in from the UK last week
Mhm.
after the alleged ban there,
Right.
got off his plane, wasn't asked a single question, went
Right.
through customs, wasn't stopped in any way.
Yeah, no. I mean, I know
Yeah.
plenty of people. I was in China 6 times over the last year and a half. I know plenty of people who flew back and forth multiple times during that period.
if you
Like-
go back,
Oh,
that's
let
a
me
long
tell you
time.
something.
Nonsense,
You,
yeah.
you don't even have to go there. How many people do you know who went on vacation to Italy between the months of October and December and came back sick and were sick all of January and February?
Almost all of my friends traveled to Italy during that time. I don't know, but
I'm not even kidding.
yeah.
I'm
I
starting to
know
look
at
out.
least
Like, I didn't...
8 people.
Wow. Well, you're Italian, so that makes sense. The yeah, but
She's in her villa. I don't know if you can
That's
see
right.
it.
Oh, I can tell. It's lovely. The view behind you is fantastic.
Gorgeous.
It's gorgeous, darling.
Long time ago.
So if I can follow up.
He just blew off that question, by the way. He's like, they heard about it a long time ago. We knew about it a long time ago.
On this question of ventilators, I understand you have a
Oh boy, up to
Not
here with
this
the
again.
not the
question
ventilators.
on New York
They're not
as
even
much as they
fun.
want. Governor Cuomo is saying 21 days from
Here's
now.
what we're going to have. Are you ready? We're going to have more than we're manufacturing a lot of them now. We're accumulating a lot. We're taking a lot through the act. We're taking a lot. We're actually taking them.
Taking from
They're
who?
They're
Where?
not seizing ventilators from places. I don't
What
know
is he
what the
talking
hell.
about?
He's talking about making GM make them allegedly. We're not forcibly taking them from anywhere. Like that part is just
That's the lie.
gibberish. Yeah.
And we're going to have, in a very short period of time, and Peter's doing it along with some very talented people, some really talented people. It's
Are
very
they?
impressive, actually.
Okay.
But we're actually taking a lot.
Song and dance?
We're going to
What?
have plenty.
Where are we taking them from? I don't know what he like.
Right.
That's such a weird.
That room in Harry Potter.
Yeah, that's right.
And
Proof
if for some,
requirement.
Most people don't know, as your president, I have a bag of holding. So I'm a. Understand, folks.
A paper bag of holding.
Understand, I am a 4th level mage, okay? If I roll a 12 on this next one, the coronavirus will have 18 points of damage.
some reason, John, if for some reason you're going to need even more, we're going to be prepared. As an example, we've given out thousands and thousands, which I think you'll know.
Thousands and thousands, as in
He
2,000.
really does think that the numbers that he is seeing are the true numbers.
I
And,
don't even
and
know
those
that
are
he's
the numbers that
seeing
he required.
Yeah, I don't know. It's bizarre to me that he has this idea that we know that they've sent 4,000 from the stockpile that we had for emergencies to New York. And he was like, that's all we can give you is 4,000. I think there's 6,000 total, and the rest of them are being sent out to other places. That's 6,000. New York alone needs 30,000. There is a shortfall of at least 100 in 35 states. The projected shortfall that means 100 dead people per state that roll in there and need a ventilator. And that doesn't count the person for when those are the ones that are used up are still on them when you need more after that. So after you've run out, there's 100 a day. Let's say if you have a
That's right.
projected, because like whatever, Louisiana is looking at 71 people a day coming in, new hospitalization cases a day, peaking like
And
April
and
16th.
you can't yank that ventilator out of somebody and put it on somebody new.
Right. He's like,
Or
and
are
you see,
you going to
They're
do that?
sharing. They're sharing ventilators in New York.
That's
so
right.
it's,
Trying to like
That's-
scuba diving, like trying
hey,
to co-breathe.
two on a ventilator, that is uniquely American.
Yeah.
In reality, because you think about the rolling aspect of this, and this is again, if you don't have a bus accident, if you don't have a chemical
right.
plant fire or a frigging hurricane, tornado, earthquake, sinkhole, like
You
every
don't
other,
break your hip.
Right.
That's right.
Like,
normal
the amount-
stuff that goes on.
Right, and having all these things, regular life is why your emergency rooms are already taxed to the gills in certain areas all the time. The interesting thing is certain red states, like Kentucky, for example, because they implemented stuff early, and because people in general in Kentucky are not particularly healthy and require a lot more hospitalization, they have more than they need. They're going to be a shortfall of ventilators, but they have more ICU beds and more regular hospital beds than they need in Kentucky, even for the peak that's coming up in their projection, because they acted
But you know
early.
what's going to happen? You're going to see whatever somebody from some outlying state is going to
Tennessee.
drive a loved one there in a
Tennessee.
car.
That's right. Tennessee. Everybody's going to be pouring into Tennessee, eating them up.
That's right.
It is obnoxious of him to pretend like, we don't even know if we're going to need these kind of things. Who knows? Who knows? We'll see what happens. That's my favorite.
Well, you
part.
said it earlier. I think, Helen, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Which is that this, among the many things we're learning from this pandemic, is how inadequate our healthcare. I mean, we already knew we had problems in our healthcare system, obviously, with insurance and with all that. But no, like I personally was just blown away by the fact that there are only 1 million hospital beds.
Yeah,
like,
964,432, I think was the number that I saw. Like,
in a country of over 300 million people, like that seems insane.
Yep.
Well, those are my mom's a nurse, so we grew up. I saw my first autopsy when I was 6 years old because we didn't have daycare. So at one point, my sister went to special classes, and my mom had me. So she would take me, and I would just stay in one of the empty rooms, watch television on one of the monitors, because I didn't have a TV growing up. So that was amazing. And at one point, they came up there to try and find me, and I was gone. And they're like, "Where the hell is he?" I ran off. I was wandering around the hospital. And they found me in the basement watching in the autopsy theater because they were using one of the secondary rooms that had one of those viewing rooms. And so, but I grew up, around that. My mom worked in a mental institution for 2 years. She worked for a urologist for 12 years, and she worked in hospitals as a nurse. And they have the static beds, they have the ICUs, and then they have the bounce beds, essentially, which are like you're in for a couple of days and then you're gone, right?
Right.
Everything's a static bed now. Everything, because these people need 30 days, some of them, of respirator and ventilator use.
Yep.
And if you're lucky, you don't have to ventilate them. You just put them on a respirator and then move them to oxygen. But a bunch of these people go from respirator to ventilator to chest tube to trachea in a matter of 48 hours while you're still getting people rolling in. It is, and this whole we're going to have too many. We're going to sell these things to other companies. Countries from these great companies that we have. Unbelievable. Hold on here.
Accumulated thousands. We give them out, but we right now, I think in the stockpile we have over 10,000. The reason we don't.
No, you don't. We had.
Want to distribute that is for exactly what you're saying. If there's a mad rush in New York, or maybe in Louisiana, or maybe someplace else, we don't want to have given out all of those units of ventilators.
He's right.
And then in those
he's right. We don't, and he's at the same time though he's pretending we have plenty. At the same time, he's like, we have 10,000 in the stockpile. We don't want to hand them out because we don't want, if there's a mad rush in New York, we don't want to have already given them out. That's almost a direct quote of what he just said. And then moments ago, he was saying, we're going to be giving these out to other countries before too long. In 21 days, there are going to be too many of them. Yeah, you know why? Because a bunch of these people are going to be dead and beyond, there's no dead people on ventilators.
In those sections, we give them to Iowa, but they didn't have a problem in Iowa. We give them to Idaho. We give them to lots of different places. And now we have to try and get them back, which is never easy to do.
Never easy to do because he knows. Yeah. He knows.
And get them back. You can't get people to get their grubby hands off a ventilator.
They keep trying. Yeah, have you ever snuck into? I mean, you saw Kill Bill. You ever snuck into a coma ward to have sex with one of the prettier patients, and you're like, is that guy really using that ventilator? He's not really going to make it. Let's yank that out and plug it into Grandma. She's got a good 6 weeks out, and she hasn't signed the will yet.
Here's my question. No, John, what I'm saying is this. We are prepared for things that nobody has any idea.
That is the biggest lie of the whole thing. Am I not mistaken? Like that?
Yeah, it's up there because what we're watching him every day, every single day, get up there and rewrite history, and that is the thing that makes me chaps my hide.
Chaps your
because at the end of the day, him sitting there and rewriting this history is disgusting.
Right.
That we'd be prepared. And you know what? When I took this over, it was an empty box. We didn't have testing. We didn't have anything. We had a broken system there. We had a broken...
Okay, we lost you for a second, but we saw you the whole time.
I don't see Francis though.
Was it your turn to dance? Was that what happened? Because sometimes,
I had to go do.
You had to go do a set. Yeah. A lot of times you can just.
You know what the people come for.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, if you got a big fish on the line, you can always just tip the DJ and he can skip to the next girl.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep.
Broken.
Make your paper, girl.
How does he know that? Same way he knows everything.
System was stockpiling. We had a lot of broken systems. And I'm not just blaming President Obama.
I'm not just blaming.
No,
I'm not just blaming President Obama. I'm also blaming every other president that didn't have a pandemic.
You go long before that. But in all fairness to all
with Reagan and AIDS.
Of the former presidents, none of them ever thought a thing like this could happen.
Yes, they did. They ran you through it. What? I mean, please, someone.
So full of shit.
But we have right now 10,000 ventilators in stockpile. We are ready to go with those ventilators. What we don't want is
you need somebody to run a UPS? What's the problem?
Yeah, right. We had a bunch of them sitting in a warehouse in Jersey. Nobody even knew they were there.
Distribute the ventilators like we did in New York, and they didn't need them, or they didn't know, or they didn't use them. If we need them,
they didn't know. You didn't tell them. They were delivered.
You're not doing your job.
And you had no one in the task force who informed people.
In New York, we're going to have plenty. Now, we're getting a lot of ventilators in the next short period of time.
Short period of time. You're familiar with the short period of time, right? Right, guys?
You know what? Yeah. Short period of time could be 2 minutes or 20 years, depending on who you're talking to.
It's like the Hebrew word yom. It could mean a day. It could mean an eon. Who knows? Really, honestly, it's just a short period of time. It's also the exact same time frame when we're going to see his taxes and the really beautiful health care plan from the Republicans that will be cheap and easy to do and so much better and faster and stronger and bigger and wider and deeper and thicker and more lubed.
A lot of ventilators are coming in the next year.
But it's ribbed for your, let me tell you something about that health care plan. It's ribbed for your enjoyment.
It is ribbed. Let me tell you, and I as somebody who's, had sex with porn stars without any protection whatsoever, who's never managed to pay for a abortion allegedly, but somehow is more virile than all men.
We're manufacturing. We went to all of the companies. I read their names. We went to all of those companies. They are going to go, I would say, round the clock, Peter. Is that right? They're going round
the clock. They're like, can you go? Do they have digital clocks?
Dickory duck.
Is 100 days fast enough? Like you said, is that fast enough to get 100,000? Because some of these people
let's put it this way. We've distributed thousands and thousands already. Normally, these would be bought by states, just so you understand. Normally, these would be bought by governors. They were I don't want to say unprepared, but nobody was prepared for this.
Wow.
Jesus Christ, man.
I'm telling you, rewriting the history as we speak. Every day he is just sanding the truth down and honing it down into his likeness, into what he wants it to be.
Well, and also this whole idea, like, they didn't know that they were even supposed to do this at this time, whatever. Like, yeah, they did. That's why Cuomo was saying, look, if we buy all the ventilators that exist, the other states won't get them. Like, this whole story is something he's repeating that Cuomo warned him selflessly about his own state. Like,
what we've done, nobody can even imagine. And
Jesus Christ, this whole nobody can imagine, lack of imagination is not.
By the way, I've had governors tell me, including Democrat governors, they said, we can't believe you've been able to do this. And you go to other countries, and we're not only competing against states, because we don't want to compete against states. We've had a couple of cases where states were buying, we were buying, and I said specifically, because I heard about it, pull back, let the state buy it.
I don't want to be bothered with it. We're not their shipping group. We're not their shipping guy, clerk, or whatever it
Immediately,
said.
the price goes way down, and they end up buying it. But we're also competing against many countries.
That's not what happens when people compete for price. The price doesn't go down.
No, it doesn't. Yeah.
That's a lie.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. What I managed to do was, I managed from the federal government something we do with stocks a lot, which is you bid the price up for something you never intended to buy, and then the states are forced to buy it at a higher point because whatever you set the price as, that's what they end up having to buy it at. And then the donors who made those ventilators and all that equipment reward me come the fall.
Countries need the ventilators. That's why I want to build more, if possible. John, maybe we'll take one more question.
Oh, he's getting tired of it. So here we go.
Are you able to guarantee, to assure these states?
No, he's not. But let's go.
These hospitals that everybody who needs a ventilator will get a ventilator.
Just like everybody who needs a test will get a test, or anybody who wants a test will get a test?
Right.
No.
So here's what I'll tell you. I think we're in
That's, oh boy. That's not a yes.
really good shape.
We're in great shape right now because I don't believe in projections.
This is a pandemic, the likes of which nobody's seen before.
Oh my God. Dude.
I think we're in great shape. I think that, number one,
this is a Bigfoot like no one has ever.
We've distributed, ventilators is a big deal. We've distributed vast numbers of ventilators, and we're prepared to do vast numbers. I think.
No, we're not. Like, what is that? He just said there's 10,000 in the reserve. We don't want to hand them out because you can't get them back.
Yeah.
What?
Mm-hmm.
What?
To put back in your in a warehouse, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
How can you even? All right.
I think we're in great shape. I hope that's the case. I hope that we're going to have leftovers so we can help other people, other
leftovers?
countries.
We are going to have leftovers. There's no leftovers.
Look, don't be a cutie pie, okay?
Don't be a cutie pie.
Nobody's ever done what we've done. Nobody's done anything like we've been able to do. And everything I took over was a mess. It was a
don't be a cutie pie.
What a fucking
country
idiot.
in so many ways. In so many ways
We were a
other than
broken
this.
country.
We had a bad testing system. We had a bad stockpile system. We had nothing in the stockpile system. So I wouldn't tell me what you're telling.
Then what are you finding in the warehouses? I don't understand. If you
Yeah, it depends. We got too many of not enough. We've got so much of nothing. Like no one has had this much nothing in one place before. The amazing thing about this is he's now bitching about the fact that he's had two sides of a conversation.
But tell what being a wise guy. Go ahead.
Being a wise guy. What?
Mr. President, you signed a bill today the size of which could choke an entire herd of horses. And before you even had a chance to put pen to paper, people were already talking about the need for phase 4.
Yeah.
Do you see a need for phase
Oh yeah, I'm phasing.
Phase 4, and where do you think the priorities would
Well,
lie?
there may be something where we're going to have to help states because the states have been hurt very badly. And the beautiful thing about our country is 6.2 trillion, because it is 2.2 plus 4.
Oh my God, he's a math whiz. Kids, we had no idea. I'm going to take back everything I've said.
$6.2 trillion. And we can handle that
And
easily because of who we are, what we are. It's our
how we are, when we are, why we are.
it's our money. It's our. We are the ones. It's our currency.
We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones that make it brighter. So let's start. All right.
We can handle it, and we can handle.
No, we can't. We had $1 trillion deficit to start with. This dude had doubled the deficit from Obama.
I watched Jerome Powell the other day, and he did a good job. He said, "We'll do whatever we have to do." John, we have to do whatever we have to do.
Where do you see the priorities being?
The priority is life and safety, and then the economy. Life and
Somebody told me I had to say that because every time I said the opposite, the stock market tanked.
safety.
Does the Easter bunny stick? It seems like earlier in the week you said we love Easter, but now it seems like it
We'll
could
see.
be longer.
A lot of things
We're
can.
heading into a long weekend.
Yeah.
What do you tell those folks who think they're going to have to wait this out for a while?
I tell them if it's your life, then it's your safety. And if we need more time, they're not going to have a problem waiting it out. It's life, it's safety, and it's our country. But we have to take care of people. At the same time, we want to get them out. They want to get out. Our country was built on that. But we have to make sure it's safe, and everyone knows that. Okay, one more question, please.
Oh my God, one more question. Like he needs to get his roundup question. Jesus. Last
Both
one.
the World Health Organization, as recently as today, and your own health officials have said that any treatments that we use for coronavirus should be scientifically demonstrated to be effective.
No, look, I believe that Clorox and Pop Rocks poured in your pee hole has shown great efficacy and also efficacy in Guatemala.
But at the same time, you've said that chloroquine, as an example, could be used as a cure very soon. So is the WHO and your health officials wrong on this point? Are they...
So hydroxychloroquine, which is supposed to be the better of the two,
Damn it.
Like
seems to have some good backing.
No.
We're going to see.
No, they don't. Yeah, no, doesn't. We'll see. We're going to see what happens, whatever. Just see. Look, France, Angela, both of you, listen. You have to both understand, okay? I understand. We hope it works. We're going to hope it works. And all you need to know...
And when I say hope, I mean hope. Hope is the word.
I mean, look, get a funnel, lay down on a table, have someone...
Look.
Hot lead, it'll work.
Governor Cuomo, we've given him 10,000 units. It's a lot. And they're testing it. It's a malaria drug. It's also a drug for arthritis. But and it
only kills people who have an arrhythmia because of it. And if you buy it off the internet.
Phenomenal for those two things, as you probably know.
It's great for malaria. Like if you're lucky enough to have malaria, this is the best one. Have you tried the cherry flavored hydroxychloroquine? It's amazing.
I've actually taken it. And it does have a lot of side effects, and I opted to catch malaria to get away from the side effects.
Wow.
Now, the difference between side effects and death, I'll take side effects.
Yes.
But this is not. It's not popping aspirin.
No, he just well, I mean, he basically thinks let's test this on the first cases so that by the time it gets to me, we're all guinea pigs.
Especially for malaria. But we're going to.
But there are people who need these drugs for other things, and now they can't get.
Yeah, people with lupus, people who have who have RA.
There are signs that it could be doing well. They are testing 10,000 units. It's a lot. And I tell you what, I want to thank the FDA because they approved it immediately based on the fact that it was already.
They didn't approve it. They're testing it. That's not approval. They're running a test of it. That is so amazing to me.
So sick of him lying.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Look, hydroxychloroquine is a very powerful drug for certain things, and it's a very successful drug. There's reason to believe that it could be successful here. Now, the reason I disagree with you, and I think Tony would disagree with me, but the reason I disagree with you is that we have a pandemic. We have.
Yeah, Tony would disagree. We're in a hurry, okay? I need to get rid of all these people so that I can get the economy, because dead people can't flip burgers, and there'll be the job availabilities that will open up.
People dying now. If we're going to go into labs and test all of this for a long time.
Yeah, we're going to kill other people in the process. Wasn't he the one saying the cure shouldn't be worse than the problem? Even though he doesn't remember, it's cure shouldn't be worse than the disease. But yeah,
we can test it on people right now who are in
and if they die, we know that I won't take it when it's my turn.
serious trouble, who are dying. If it works, we've done a great thing.
If it kills them,
if it doesn't work, we tried.
Hey, we tried. Yeah.
It does-
Wow. We tried, dude. Okay.
But this is not something that's going to kill people.
I don't know why people
we
aren't
can
calmed
go
by
in and
this.
we can
I don't either. Yeah, look, and Ed Asner is not having it
test and
behind
we
him.
can take our time. When I was with the FDA, they indicated that, we'll start working on it right away, and it could take a year. I said, what do you mean a year? We have to have it tonight.
Tonight.
If we don't have it tonight, I want to test it immediately because it's on the market in a different form. So we know that. So from a safety standpoint, at least we know
Christ.
that. But you're talking about giving it to people who in many cases are dying. So we want to do it the way. This is sort of like right to try. We got right to try approved.
No, this is not like trying it on people who are terminally ill. You are treating people who may get worse.
Yeah.
For 40, John, for 40.
He's literally like Drago and Fauci is Rocky. If he dies, he dies.
44 years or more, they couldn't get it approved. We have the best labs, the best doctors. They couldn't get it. I got it approved. Now, if somebody's terminally ill, and if we think we have something that's going to work, we can actually use it. They can use it. And I'll tell you what, you ought to do, when this is over, you got to do a story on that, because we have had some tremendous results.
Just before you go, could I ask you something that just popped on Wall Street Journal? It says, headline, the Trump administration plans to suspend the collection of import tariffs for 3 months, according to administration officials. True or not true?
It's not even talk to me about it. Just more fake news, John. Look, not even talk to me. They're talking about, the only one I've heard that from, like as an example, China pays 25% interest on $250 billion worth of product that they send in. That's a lot. Everybody keeps saying, are you going to suspend the tariffs? Well, the answer is no, but President Xi never even brought it up last night. It wasn't even discussed.
He really doesn't understand tariffs at all, does he?
No, he does not. And he doesn't understand the question. And he's saying like more fake news. Like this is going to end up being, yes. Thank you, James Etling, for the tech support fund. That's awesome.
It's fake news. Tell the Wall Street Journal.
Tell the Wall Street. Yeah, you know who runs. You know who runs the Wall Street Journal? Those dirty hippies from Rupert Murdoch's company.
Exactly.
They don't. What do they know about economics?
The Wall Street Journal does a lot of fake news too. It's pretty amazing. So I want to leave you by just saying I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank the American public and all of the people
who aren't dead yet,
that have helped so much, and
especially the people I'm going to be testing drugs on.
We're going to give the podium to Vice President Pence, who has been incredible. And if he's tired and if he's not answering questions like he should, we have a great reason, because he hasn't slept in about 4 weeks.
You're fine, though.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't. Well, I keep trying to give him a rail of Adderall and crushed Sudafed, but he won't do it. Mother says no. That's all he says. Mother says no.
But I want to thank him because he has dedicated, he is a dedicated.
He's doing the president stuff. Although he never told New York that they had ventilators in a warehouse, and he forgot that part. But
long before this, but
that's
job
he's
he's
tired.
done is.
Yeah, he's a
not
little
as strong or as
sleepy.
in good a shape as Trump.
He's a little sleepy. He gets a little sleepy.
Been fantastic. So I want to thank Mike, all the people on the task force, and FEMA, and Army Corps, everybody. You've been fantastic. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, buddy. Mike, take it. I don't want to talk to these fools. All right, we don't need to see the rest of them. You guys have been, you guys have the patience of Job to have sat through most of that with me. You guys are adorable. Holy smokes. So let's see. I'm gonna put on screen, if I can, real quick, if I may, you guys are just Frangela on Twitter. It's the easiest way to follow, but website-wise, what's the best social media stuff? What are you guys spending most of your time on?
We're Frangela Duo on Twitter and Instagram, and Facebook is Frangela.
And Facebook.
Right.
I would say Twitter's and Instagram, and Frances is a Facebook fan person.
She's part Russian and
go to
Italian,
Frangela.
right?
Oh yeah, and Chinese.
Yeah.
And frangela.com for all
Right.
things.
Fantastic.
Oh,
Frangela.com.
and you know
Yes.
what? And you know what
What?
people can do? You can go to Francis.com, go to our store, and if you're sick and tired of listening to politics, you need a little bit of a break.
Right.
You can go and get our link to our Idiot of the Week live show. It's every idiot story that we love perform live.
Yes.
Go laugh your ass off at that.
Super fun. Agreed. Yes. So I'm putting this on screen as we roll, just because I feel like because you deserve it. You know you've done that. So is it just frangela.com?
Yeah.
Or Frangela do okay, yeah, frangela.com. We'll put that on the screen right now. So that's where you guys can go. And I have no doubt that our beloved Can't Stop Lying will have already beat me to the links as we do. He's in our chat room as well. The Idiot of the Week is a joy to watch. You guys are hysterical and fun. And I mean, like Francis, like most people don't know how far you and I go back.
I know. It always freaks people out. They're always like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, I've known how. We went to classes at Second City together in high school.
That's right. We literally we took improv classes together when we were teenagers.
Yeah.
And I could not be prouder of that part of my history as a comedian. And you guys are like, I was so excited when you guys kind of fell back into my life, as part of the Stephanie Miller crowd and all that stuff. It's kind of one of those odd miracles because it did not happen. Like Dan Charles, aka Dan Zukuski, who also went to class with us, who was the pizza guy in Home Alone, for example. Some people will know him as the guy who got, he was in class with us.
He was so fabulous. I love Dan.
Yes, and Matt Dwyer, who he and I moved out to LA together to be writers and all that kind of stuff. Matt, I finally found him on Twitter again after all this time. That took some looking. Dan and I were friends, from way back then. Like he moved out to LA about a year and a half after I did because his sister is a voiceover casting person in LA, and so he was always planning to come. But you and I lost track of each other for decades.
Yeah.
And then poof, out of nowhere. It was just such a lovely thing. I was like, I can't believe it. What are the odds? It was
Life is a slow herald. It really is. You just never know.
Most people don't know what a herald is.
Say,
yeah. A herald is a long form improv where your themes keep coming back and then you ultimately hope to resolve it in one big punchline. But yes.
That's it.
Yeah, I'm anyway. So I thank you guys for jumping on here kind of last minute.
you.
I know you're probably all podcasted out in this process. Yes. But we'll do this again. I've got
please.
And I'll have to do some audio tweaking to make it possible so that the audio from Zoom goes into because I literally just set this up today when you were like, can you use Zoom? I was like, yeah, clickety clack, live patching audio internally in the computer. But now that I have it up and running, we know it works or whatever. I would love to have you guys on the radio show in the upcoming weeks. And I will say, you guys are hilarious and funny, and these are, I feel like, as serious as this gets, even the more serious it gets, the necessity for laughter around and through it, as gallows humor as it may become, is going to become increasingly necessary as we all find ourselves in this extraordinary situation. She's on the case. Being able to laugh in the midst of this will be, will be the release we all need. And so I'm so glad we're all lucky enough to have you guys out there. I'm going to be doing my part. We'll do our wonder triplets join of at some point in the future, and then of course I'm always going to tune in when you guys are on Steph and the like. And loser of the week, go to frangela.com, watch them stream, love and support. You guys are wonderful, and I will sign you guys off and talk to you later.
Thank you. Be safe.
Bye,
I
everybody.
will. Bye. Say bye to everybody in the chat room. You guys are so wonderful adults.
Bye.
Okay, bye. See you later. Cheers. Bye. See you later. Bye. Cool. So I think I fixed some of this stuff. So I will, yeah. Later. Okay, cool. Yeah. So hi chat room. I'm gonna bring you guys up. Let's see if I can do this. Yeah. Here we go. Ta-da! What's up, chat room? Sorry, stuff is if video got out of sync. This is my first time rolling them into everything. Yeah. So we'll piece by piece, we do what we can. And I also want to thank everybody who super chatted during that. I appreciate you guys trying to read lips. I can't. Is the audio not there or something? It looks okay where I am. Is everything better? We'll see. Hold on. Check it. Check it and see. Thanks for joining, Sonia. I appreciate you coming in. And Recepta, hi. Miss you. Hope you're doing well. Thanks to Facebook for being slightly less trolly than usual, but only a little bit. I'm having to once I block and ban people, it's amazing how friendly it gets. Off by 20 video and voices out of sync by 20 minutes. Oi, God, how is that possible? Check. And for Twitch, very laggy. It might be internet today. It might not even be my setup. It might just be how, the internet is just bogged down at, end of the day work hour. It's hard to say. It may get increasingly bad. I'm back. It's in sync. The Chinese Kung Fu movie? That happens. Well, thanks, Jill. I appreciate it. And thank you, Linda. Sorry for the drawback on this. I'll see if I can restart that part of it. We'll see if the live chat seems to be working. Let me see if it's on my end. Checking the 1 2. Checking the 1 2. I think it works now. I think we're okay. Let me see. My speakers were all unhooked. Hold on. Yep. Okay. It's in sync. Ta-da! When you were young and our hearts was an open book, you used to say, live and let live. You know you did, you know you did, you know you did. Thank you, Super Dave. I appreciate that. Good evening, Fred. How's everybody doing? Facebook just sent out another notice for the stream. Well, that's because I had to sync and unsync and resync because of audio issues. So hopefully that merch like tie-dye. Sure, why not? Yeah. Love you too, Britt. Thank you very much, and thanks to everybody in the chat room for joining. Why is this not? Don't cross the streams. I have to cross the streams. I must cross the streams. Is the chat? Yeah, okay. The chat's rolling through. Good. Just checking. Hi, Patricia. Hi, thank you. Hi, Christian. Hello, Mike from Ireland. How are you? I'm part Irish. It's where my middle name McGee comes from. You'll always be Michael to me. Well, that's weird and awkward, but okay, that's cool. I have a real name, but it's sweet. It's fine. I'm pretty sure I'm the only person watching from Twitch. That happens. That's okay. Where's the lab rats? They're not here currently. We're all sequestered away from each other. Yes, and thanks for putting that up. Can't stop lying. I appreciate it. Is this not strolling through? What's happening? I gotta fix this. 1 second. 1 second. Configure. Restream chat. Restream chat. Okay. And then I'll fix this. And then I'll stretch it out. And then we'll see if it's that kind of thing. All right. Now it's working. Now we got it. There we go. Stretch this out a little bit. And I'll try to, if I squeeze it in a little, I think it goes, yeah, that'll work. Then it makes it easier to see. Excellent. Hello, Brazil. I'm deaf, not hearing. Okay. Find Twitch to be very laggy and glitchy. Well, it's pretty loaded up. You made me finally feel relaxed last night. Oh, thanks. I'm glad you watched Charmageddon. That's great. Yes, we highly recommend Charmageddon. It's on iTunes and all those other sources. I'll do my best, Katie. We're trying to love you and QF. Missed the show. Thank you. I appreciate that. We're we'll all get back to working normally eventually, sometime in the next year. We'll see. We'll see. You watch. There's going to be a call for even more like reunion shows. America's going to need comfort shows when all this is done. So there will at one time be more original stuff, but there's going to be a ton. Like, you think reboots were bad after this? Holy smokes! Oh, hey, Dana Rose, what's happening? Hey, Venus Flytrap, thank you for the gems and hearts and other stuff. Appreciate it. Add on there. What's in that? Oh no. Okay. Move this down. Whoops. Oh, thank you, Venus Flytrap. Appreciate that. Put this here. Thanks so much. Hold on, moving stuff around. There we go. Yeah, every Saturday. Tomorrow we'll have a regular show. I'm working on my graphics and guests. I think via Zoom we may be able to bring Johnny in that way if he's going to be in there. But we'll. You went out of sync, but it looks perfect. Okay, good. Well, this may be an internet issue. We'll fix it. But we will chip away at all this stuff. Nothing like Michael as real life. So, yeah. Rolling back through the chat. Look at that. I'm going to hug strangers when this is over. Yes. Why am I all slow slaying, right? It's from the pilot episode. There you go. I will, Venus Flytrap. I don't know how yet, but I will. I will figure it out. Be careful in Staten Island, Enid. In sync on my slow internet. Okay, good. More Sparks and Marks. All right, we'll get him rolled in. I did his stream. I'll get him to hop on mine. That will even it out that way. And any guests you guys would like to see, I'm gonna try and get Billy Younger from Lab Rats to join me. For one, I'm Michael Ian Black. I'm trying to talk him into like an I love the quarantine, just to be a complete jerk. Business has been terrible at my free hugs booth. Really? Maybe it's the deep, dry cough you have. Gail, yeah. Adjust the frames. All right. Which part? Seems all right on my end. I don't know. So, it's a little overrun, but, as far as the design stuff, Todd Glass, if you can see him. All right. I like Todd. He's a good guy. Most panicked comic I've ever worked with. Maybe Aries Spears. I don't know. Before a show. Like the amount of sweatiness involved. Okay, Ginger, well then reason enough to do it just for you. What have you been up to? What have I been up to? A lot. I like being able to see the comments from other platforms up on my Periscope screen. Oh, good. Yeah, I use Restream, and it's got a thing where you can put stuff on, but they have a new thing, which Restream Studio, but I don't know how to source my video switcher into it and get the audio into it So I gotta figure that part out. That's gonna take us. That'll be a step, but eventually I'll be able to pull up individual ones like I do in Ecamm. The only problem with Ecamm, it works great, but eventually the chat dies. That's the problem. Let's see. I was funny on lab rats. I agree. And I think that shows taste and breeding on your part. To the Comcast, you call it Comcast. I call it Concast. So that. By the way, another stand-up friend is performing at a drive-in, so people can go to a comedy show but still being socially distanced in their cars. You should consider that here in Vegas. That's a great idea, Akth. Good concept. Cut whose mic? I love that idea. Comp crap is more like it. Nice Davin stream today. Bloomberg just reported Rhode Island police to hunt down New Yorkers seeking refuge. What? Wow. Did you ever actually do a morning stream for Apex? No, not this morning. I did it yesterday. MSDNC. That's the president and the right wing's phrase for MSNBC, right? Good to see what I did there. You can't do that with Fox. Yeah, it's 6 o'clock, so it's time to go fix dinner and watch Rachel and then get prepped for radio tomorrow. And I'm going to work on graphics a little bit tonight so we can get all this stuff up and running. But each day I'm chipping away. If you can see this, show's getting higher and higher tech. And then hopefully with the help of our patrons, at some point we move into a new space where I can dedicate it to just the show, set up a computer in there, set up the streaming stuff that we use, and then, not just have it be my office, and sort of next level it without traveling somewhere too far or any of that stuff. Oh, good night. You look tired. Get some rest. I will. Yeah, it's sleeping schedule's very weird. Yawn, I'm getting sleeping time to go to bed. Dear God, do something about Trump. We will. Oh, Gmail went down. Wow. I don't think I look that tired, do I? All right. I don't look tired. I'm 50. This is what 50 looks like. New money coming in from patrons Wednesday. It's true. Yeah, that's helpful. But I'm not touching it currently. I'm letting it build up so that we can use it. Even some of the stuff, like obviously it pays for the subscription services we use, and it pays for the apps that I use for the service that I use for the radio show. Some of that stuff goes out automatically, but the rest of it I'm holding on to and building up so that we can use it for a new space as far as gear, because nobody's around to sell the gear. So yeah, thank you, Cosmic Rose. That's what we're shooting for. And I appreciate you saying, I feel all right. Hold on. Let's show you. Here you go. We're holding up. This is, right, And you could tell that I'm taking my situation very seriously because I brought the weights up into the room, so we have I can do, while I'm sitting here at the desk, I can just like do shoulders if I need to, that kind of thing, or I can do I'll just do curls, kind of current, that'll work. Do you even lift, bro? I mean, honestly. What's happening, people? How you doing? Do some little over the shoulder, but doing that kind of stuff. So I have that. those I have those right there, And then if there's if trouble comes, if anybody tries to, if we have masses, raiding the house or anything like that, I'm prepared, So just in case anybody, if it's battle time, I'm prepared to deal with the situation as it comes. What do you think? It was a Christmas gift. I'm very proud. Oh, and by the way, just in case you were wondering if I'm worthy. Yeah, so so that's our current state of affairs. Hold on. And if you guys want, like I said, I will reach out to anybody that, that you you guys know who I regularly interact with on Twitter, like Titus and those folks. Hold on. Make that thing. And you guys want to see what I really use for home defense? Really? I mean, I'll hide some of the stuff, but hang on one second. I'll run and get it. If you really, well, maybe you don't want to see it. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, hold on. Just one thing. Hi, I'm on the air. I'm just picking up something, if you'll excuse me. Show and tell. Oh, man. So Summer's watching Iron Man, and here I'm in the other room being Captain America. I think that basically sums up our. So this is my. I use this for home defense. Some people will have a bat by the bed. I have this. It's a walrus penis. It's really heavy. It's formidable. Yeah, this is the walrus dick. There you go. So, ta-da. It's not a fossil. It's, well, it hasn't fossilized. It's just, but it's, this is pretty, and I have other stuff, that I have like hidden in little pockets around the house in case somebody at the door is acting a fool. But this is, again, it's one of those things, like, people thought I was kidding when I did stand up in Seattle, but there it is. And they reinforced the end of it with this metal plate so it doesn't split. It's usually not that yellow. I think it's the white balance of the camera. It looks a little gross, but it's just the nature of the actual thing. So there you go. Now you know. Now you've seen it. I will always tell you the truth, even if I'm joking. So, all right. I'm going to sign off, you guys. Work on my graphics. And yes, it is an actual walrus penis. That is true. So, anyways, you guys are fantastic. I'm going to sign off right now. I will. I'll check in with you guys. Like, I'll probably be on a little bit early before the radio show tomorrow. Just to see if stuff is up and running. I'll be on like a half hour early, I think. And if you guys feel like, joining me for that one, at around 8:30 a.m. tomorrow on the West Coast, I'll do my best to. Oh, okay. I need to add that screen to this thing. Thank you for letting me notice that it's not there. And then I've got some like audio wiring to figure out how to move the the audio from the clips that I show to Chicago and back and all that stuff. It's always a quirky experience, but I'm going to do a clean sweep fix tonight for all that stuff, get us solid and rocking. And I'm also, Summer and I are going to go down, and just for the patrons, we're going to go down to the Strip in Vegas and film how empty it is, show you guys what it's like. It's pretty fascinating. And we'll report back. And I'm probably gonna, I have my, some of you may know, I have my 360 camera, and I'm gonna go shoot some footage with that as well, and I'll post that. That'll be just for patrons. So there you go. You guys are wonderful. I adore you. I thank you. I want to thank all Americans. And we'll see you tomorrow morning if you'll join me. So hopefully I'll see you then. All right. Take care, everybody. Remember, it's up to you. Stay inside. That's right.